This probably works. Hello, everybody. Boy, it's been a long time since we've had Pathfinder on this channel. It's been, wow, how long has it been, Bryn? Since the ancient era of Extinction Curse? It's
time.
been over a year.
It's been a while.
Probably. I think it's literally
been
been
a while.
over a year since we've done any tabletop stuff on this channel.
Oh
And the
my
last time
gosh.
we did it, it was still Roll20. It was still fully online, just virtual tabletop, technical issue fiesta. And now it's us sitting at a table together like some bros technical issue
Super cool.
fiesta.
Yeah. Very cool.
We got to keep that underlying grounding there. So you got a bunch of new faces on these cameras here that many of you have probably never seen before. These fine folk are some number of the OcalianKnights,
A good
I do
amount.
believe.
Some arbitrary number.
Yeah.
Some arbitrary number of the OcalianKnights, because
Yes.
every time I look at your show, it is a different set of people. So I just kind of assume that there's 50 of you.
Nice.
It's like a football team.
I like it. I like
Yeah,
it.
it is a full NFL football team, and you just kind of
Injuries
rotate
happen.
in and out.
We're Ocala kickball champs also.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's not true. That's not true.
The LARPing team.
Yeah, we do LARP. Yeah.
Ocala LARPing champ. So you get the advantage that you have cool armor and
I
stuff.
do.
Yeah.
Boom,
Doing
boom,
your,
boom. Come to Thaliandor.
doing your LARPing things. And Lydia, holy crap, welcome back and thank you for all the gift subs. Holy shit, that's a lot.
Whoa.
So, what we're going to do today with these fine gentlemen is we are going to play some Pathfinder. Of the 5 people seated before me at this table, that one has played Pathfinder before.
I played the first edition of Pathfinder. That's what I got started on before D&D 3.5.
Okay,
Oh,
fair
can we
enough.
say that? Can I say D&D?
Yeah, you can.
All right.
You,
Bam.
this isn't a Pathfinder show.
I know.
I know I gave you the giant warning paper, but that's just part of the guest packet. That one doesn't
He had
matter
he had
that
to
much.
sign a paper in blood. I didn't know what that was about.
I have literally 4 more of those jokes throughout the evening. So
Okay, good.
Lightning
We got-
strikes,
it's
you
our-
immediately die.
It's our safe place. It's our home base. We can always turn back to. But tonight, our adventure is going to be something that hopefully everybody can follow along with. Whether you have no tabletop experience or have been playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition religiously, literally since it came out, like I haven't stopped, please help me. Or whether your knowledge base is invested somewhere entirely different, like Pathfinder 1st Edition, or D&D 5e, or literally nothing.
That's me.
We have the whole spread here at the table so that we can go in from square one and discover how this all works. So we're not going to cover character creation, but I will end this little preface by saying, if you're interested in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and you're interested in learning how the rules work, trying to get your hands on some gameplay, some dice, throw some 20s, probably throw some 1s, the best way you can start off is to just make a character. Get your core rulebook, or go to Archives of Nethys and their character creation walkthrough, which is free and $0. All of the Pathfinder rules are OGL, so you can find them all on that officially supported website. Get a paper character sheet and go through and put it together. You can use something like Path Builder to guide you, it'll help. But if you go through with just the rules and a pencil, you will sort of see how the vast majority of the systems interact with each other, where most of your numbers come from, and honestly, at the end of creating a first level character, you'll have a pretty decent grip on most of the fundamental mechanics. We have already done that. We are prepared. We have our characters. And speaking of these characters, let us start with some introductions here. Bryn, I missed you. At the table, obviously, I literally live with you, but I missed you.
You should miss me anyways.
Doing this.
So character introduction or person?
Character introduction, please.
Hello, my name is Katarina. I am an elf, but not maybe the normal elf that you would see just walking along the road. I am stacked.
Ripped.
I am a ripped elf. But I am the bartender in the local bar just down the road. And I will throw you out and you will not walk away from it if you mess up with my bar.
Okay. So we're going with kind of rule by fear angle here, I suppose.
only one that exists.
For drunks, I suppose. You're not wrong, honestly. So, as we continue down the table here, Bren is Bren. But I know the rest of you are new. You're guests here. You've come to subject yourselves to the horrible things that I'm going to do to you over the next couple of hours. But you also have your own things going on. So if you want to start by introducing yourselves, or we could find your things online if you have individual things beyond just OcalianKnights, and then into your character.
Awesome.
Go right ahead there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hi, everybody. My name is David Lugo. I am the Dungeon Master for OcalianKnights. They're a local Dungeons & Dragons Twitch channel. We upload to YouTube pretty regularly. And you can find that information from us either in the comments a little bit later on. At some point, you'll get that information.
If you're on YouTube, it's in the description.
Nice. And I am also a part of Haunt Scene. Haunt Scene is a local fear group that kind of attends different haunted attractions that travel up the East Coast. If you've ever seen What October Bought or something along those lines, it's a really cool movie about some haunters that kind of jump from thing to thing and they kind of tell about their stories. Anyways, so you can go find Haunt Scene on Instagram is the one that we post on most often. But I am David Lugo. I work here in Ocala. I work for an awesome virtual reality company. I'm on the Bob Cooney team. Look for all of those things on LinkedIn when you can. And then a character introduction?
Who are you playing?
Yes. All right.
You got this.
Ears.
You're often gonna see me imitating animals because I live amongst them. I am in the wilderness. My name is Harry, and I have all kinds of amazing friends and powerful allies in the wilderness. I do not like civilization, and above all, I hate elves. They took everything from me.
We're off to a good start.
I love it. This is awesome.
Fantastic. Okay.
Also a dwarf.
We'll go on far in here.
Oh, yeah.
Jump across.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Mace and I am the executive producer for the OcalianKnights. Today I will be playing Trixie, a kitsune gunslinger. I spend most of my time getting up to trouble at Madame's bar. We are very well acquainted as she has removed me on multiple occasions. I am what you would call a batard, if you speak languages. And that is me.
Bryn threw all of this art together in like literally 2 days, by the way, which
Less than
is
2 days. It was like 14 hours.
absolutely spectacular.
She was very fantastic.
She is an artistic engine
Magnifique.
at this point. Okay, continuing.
Yes, absolutely. My name is Michaela, and I stream irregularly on Caffeinated Gaming at Twitch TV. Yeah, I'm super excited to try something new. I play D&D 5e, so I'm excited to try Pathfinder, and yeah, I'm super excited to be here. As far as my character introduction, my name is Vixie, and I am a tiefling rogue, and I have a lot of traits like Robin Hood. I love taking from people who have too much and giving to people that don't have enough. And that is how I met Roa.
Is the people that don't have enough just you?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I think that's just called stealing.
No flavor.
It's theft with extra steps.
No, it's theft with the regular amount of steps.
I think you're wrong. Me. Hi, everybody. I'm David Cox. I'm a producer on OcalianKnights. I regularly run the show behind the scenes and have been on the camera a few times. Played D&D maybe like 3 or 4 times. Completely new to the tabletop game. So get ready for lots of questions. And I'm playing Roa. He's a dwarf sorcerer. He was a man who went to war and lost his whole family in the process. When he got home, didn't really want to do much but drink himself to death. Until one day he met Vixie, who really brought me along to her cause. And I really felt it resonated with me. It gave me purpose again.
The stealing?
Yes.
Hey, you said it, not us. Just saying.
The land I fought for killed my family, so I don't have anything left.
Every Robin Hood needs a little John. I'm just saying.
Well, my friends, all of you whether you grew up here, spent most of your life here, found yourselves for the past few years in the small town of Atari, a coastal fishing village with a decent amount of trade further inland to the massive capital of Absalom.
Do they happen to import squid a lot?
We're a fishing village. You can catch your own squid.
Do it yourself,
You
idiot.
not gotta import anything. You got fishing
Sorry.
boats.
I'll steal it. Don't worry.
I think he was making a squidish joke. That's what I think was happening.
Yeah, and I just ran it over.
Honestly, it was a little bit fishy.
It was a little bit too on the nose.
But beyond the fishing, which is the simplest way that many of the folk within Atari provide for themselves, primarily, it's almost a company town. The logging industry around Otari is massive, as the demands within Absalom and elsewhere throughout the Starstone Isles for lumber are continuous and bordering on completely obscene. Over the past decade, you have seen Otari's humble beginnings explode into this burgeoning industry of the forest. And as such, the town has adapted. It has changed. But it has never really abandoned its roots as this small little coastal fishing colony. That said, as we begin today's adventure, which some of you in chat have already recognized, is in fact the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Beginner's Box. It is purpose-built for exactly this situation, introducing a bunch of people with no Pathfinder 2nd Edition experience to some of the basic tenets and concepts of the system itself. But also, as you are hearing with your little ears, thanks to one of our partners at Sirenscape, they have a fantastic sound set prepared for this already, for the adventure so titled The Menace Under Atari. I love not having to set the sound sets up myself. It saves me so much time. You have all come together today because there is a problem. Fish. The fish are disappearing. Not the fish in the ocean. The fish in the ocean are probably fine. Your nets are full. You're hauling in plenty of catches. But now, to supply this massive logging industry that Atari has developed into, a lot of this catch is stored longer term in a massive warehouse near the piers. And almost all of the stockades that are being stashed there are just gone. This is a problem, but not exactly god-level, global end of civilization or even downfall of the town kind of thing. It doesn't affect the loggers, so the guards aren't too bothered. They know where their coin comes from these days. But Tamily Tandervale, who operates this warehouse, has come to the five of you and offered you 10 gold pieces a head to figure out what in the hell is happening to all of the fish. We begin our adventure in the warehouse itself, as the five of you are let in despite your apparent differences, I guess, based on some of these introductions, to investigate the scene of the crime for yourselves. and see what you can discover.
Harry, it is just so good to see you. And I slap as hard as I can the back on Harry. Always a pleasure working with you.
I'm only here to stop the logging. It will come to an end one of these days.
Nobody tell him what we're really here for.
We.
I heard there would be 10 gold.
Correct.
Per person?
Ahead.
Great.
I was going to say incorrect, but correct also.
You would have literally just come out of the warehouse after talking to Miss Tanderville, so would have hashed that out, I imagine, beforehand, vis-a-vis the primary motivation of this character, I feel.
So who's in charge around here?
Normally, not me. Trixie, do you know what's going on? You're normally in the know.
I mean, I am not really familiar with people who like actually work. Unless they say things at your place, I am typically not in the know.
I have heard you work quite hard, but maybe it was a different subject matter.
I work very hard when it comes to acquiring other people's money.
Wow, this is the group I am in today. Okay.
The upper floor of this warehouse, the ground level as you come in, is where much of the fresh catch is stored. It's not a particularly large building, really. You know that most of it is the cellars down beneath. And this is where most of the fish that is immediately dispersing throughout the townsfolk of Atari proper is stored very short term as it is processed and sent out to the local fisheries or canneries or whatever. Where you're going to be going on the long haul storage is, again, downstairs. Quickly, you make your way to the wooden staircase descending down below. Even with the lightest steps of some of you, massive, onerous creaks emanating out from every single one of these planks before you emerge into the underground stone chamber. Lit by a series of torches set into simple iron sconces among the wall, you can see barrels and casks all around the edges of the room, racks upon racks, near floor to ceiling in this 10-foot high space. 4 massive stone squared pillars and punctuate the center of the area, supporting the ceiling and dividing it up. And you can immediately see that some of the barrels nearer the racks in the center of the room have been smashed open, most of their contents nowhere to be seen. Their possible destination, somewhat obvious, as there is a massive gaping hole in the eastern wall of the chamber, where it looks like the stone has simply erupted out, destroying a few of the racks and crushing a litany of caskets. So as we come down here, I'm going to go around and ask each of you what it is that you are doing as you come down to this basement. Now, in second edition, they sort of divide up their moment-by-moment gameplay into a couple of different modes. You have your initiative, combat, and you have your downtime. Surely you may have had campaigns in the past where you're passing long stretches of time working on long-term projects and going more day by day. But there's an interim mode called exploration, covering things like this, where your character has one primary focus of what you are attempting to do, what you are investigating or looking for, or whether you're just trying to remain sneaky so that you can do sneaky things, etc. So, Bryn, as you come down here and see all of this, what is your first interest? What are you doing?
Well, I'm, with a pointed glance at our friend Harry here, gonna try and see if there are any harmless raccoon tracks, or harmless wolf tracks, or harmless wolf bear tracks around these fishing crates. So I'm going to be just generally looking around, see if there's like drag marks, scrape marks, just kind of investigating the general area.
Okay, I'm around more towards the center of the room, probably looking at some of these smashed caskets. And I would imagine what you are doing is tantamount to scouting the area, trying to see if there's anything perhaps even still here that could give you a clue as to what is happening. So, Lugo, what is your first action on here? What interests you? What are you doing?
So Harry's very interested in keeping an eye on that elf, because elves can't be trusted. I know that there's nothing to do with animals, as I've had a good rapport with them, and I know that this is not us. So I want to keep an eye on the shifty elf character. Now, very, very curious. Are those the only barrels that were smashed? Those ones directly in the center?
The ones in the center definitely look like they have been smashed recently, but this is a problem that had happened over the course of a couple of days. Most of the damaged goods had already been removed and taken out.
Sure.
So whatever has happened here must have been within probably the last 24 hours at worst. But yes, as of now, those are the only ones that are currently busted.
So I want to see if there's any difference between the contents inside of the barrels themselves. Are there a specific type of fish or a specific type of crustacean?
So as you're coming in here, I'd say you're more interested in investigating. You're looking for something specific. You're kind of using your mind. You're thinking. You're looking to either find something or maybe recall knowledge about the situation in a way that might be helpful. So remind me what your character's name was, Ryan?
Trixie.
Trixie.
Trixie, that was it. If I was smart, I would have written these all down when you were introducing yourselves. But I'm
Same
not smart.
here.
So
I also
Me
should
too.
have done the same thing.
what is Trixie doing?
Trixie is kind of eyeballing Vixie and kind of going, I don't suppose this was you and your crew. I know you have a thing about taking from people and giving to others.
The same could be said for you.
Well, that is just giving to myself. Now, if
It was
it's-
not me.
Are you sure? If it was, I won't tell anyone.
It was not me.
I seem to recall there being 10 gold involved.
Can I roll some sort of insight
Or what
to
exactly?
see if it was her? Maybe she is.
It was.
We're a great team.
It was.
Natural 20, adventure's over right.
So the two of you are kind of up still at the entryway, where there is this sort of wooden landing as the stairs angle down to come down the edge of the room. Very much involved with each other, as you know, the characters who want to be paid today in the middle of the room. So, well, then you're kind of stuck in this. What are you walking away? Or you seem like you're engaging here?
Oh, I'm absolutely. I am very. I suspect you
well, now that
as
you said
well.
something.
Delta, Delta.
You two are up here doing your own thing. What was your character's name, David?
Roa.
Roa.
Roah. Roa. I'd like to go investigate the barrels and see if maybe there's like a certain stamp that's on the broken barrels. See if they were going somewhere in particular. See if we can find out
Okay.
if it was a aggravated assault on some particular transport.
So why don't, as you're looking around this, you two are busy arguing here, but Harry, roll me a nature check. Bryn, character was who exactly?
Katarina.
Very nice.
Roll me a survival, or perception rather, and you roll me a society. It should be under your skills for those various checks down there.
I don't see an investigation. Am I blind?
There is not an investigation. You are looking for a nature, good sir.
So society.
That's what
check?
you're after. Yep. And you will give me a society.
Is that with a D20?
That is with a D20, yes. All of the various basic checks that you will be making for your skills, for your attacks, for your saves are all D20s. The only time you'll be rolling things other than a D20 is for your damage on sorted attacks. Let's see, 17. That's pretty
That
good.
is a 17. And my society
And then you were
is
adding
1.
your society, so 18 total.
Gotcha.
With an 18, as you look over the barrels here, Atari, if anything, the fishing industry is the one that didn't super evolve and grow up with the town as the logging took over. This isn't stamped with the royal seal kind of thing. It's not like a business that exists largely for competition or for great profit. It exists to continue supplying the towns. It always has.
Gotcha.
So
So nothing like
most
a
of the
parent.
caskets here are pretty much bereft of any real seals or markings,
Gotcha.
meaning there is nothing to really distinguish the smashed ones from the others.
So noticing that, can I make my way over to the broken wall and see if I can see if there's any...
and as you're looking at through that, your nature D20 plus
26.
26.
Hey, rolled 19.
Looking down into the barrel, the smashed bits, they're mostly empty, but they're not completely empty. You taste no signs of any kind of saliva or excretions of any sort. And looking through with the large chunks and kind of surprisingly decently sized heaps of sectioned fish and heads that are left, 26, you are confident that whatever smashed these barrels open did not eat the contents. They didn't bust this, like no giant subterranean mole monster came up, busted this open, and chowed down. Or these would be cleaned out much more than they were. It looks more like something gathered what they could and took it. And with your perception,
21.
Katarina, 21? Now, with your perception, you would see in the opening of this massive hole here one little errant fish head amongst the rubble, making it all but certain that it wasn't taken up into Atari. It was taken through wherever it is that leads. Now, while they're looking into this, you two, still kind of up on the staircase here,
Are you sure it was not?
make me
I can keep my mouth shut
Trixie.
for a price.
a perception check, which should be right above your skills. For your 5e brains, insight is basically perception.
That is an 8.
Plus your perception, or
That
total?
is with the 8.
You should try to roll it over there when you can.
Gotcha. I rolled, my total is 12.
You two are incredibly suspicious of each other because neither of you can get a good read on the other. It's both of you might be either thinking, "Damn, she's good," or thinking you're on to them, perhaps. But there's nothing solid at all between the pair of you there, as those are both pathetic and abysmal.
I can keep quiet for only 3 gold.
Let's agree to disagree and let's move on.
As you kind of all look over towards this hole here, Roa would still be in the back of this, but as he had turned to move over, you hear some rubble scatter around, some stone scree get displaced in this hole, and see a black, hairy figure kind of rise up from this gap. And it looks about knee-high as it comes out from the darkness, the flickering torchlight just dimly illuminating a bit of the whatever passageway or chamber lies beyond. And it's followed by a second, a third, a fourth. And this argument is pierced by a grating screech emanating out from this hole. As the group of you see 4 big ol' knee-high, mangy black rats emerge from the passage.
Well, what do we have here?
It reminds me of my last flame.
They
Just as heavy.
certainly look to bear ill intent, and given their size, your stature does not intimidate them. And as they, as one pack, swarm through this gap into the room, we are going to roll our first initiative here.
Is it possible to have tried to talk to them as they started appearing?
Druid here. You're actually in the front. Give me a diplomacy check, sir, which should be down under your skills. You have a way with these beasts.
Oh my god.
That's a natural 20. Listen. Stop. You are ruining the name. What brings you to the surface?
Harry the rats.
So the fun part about a level 1 druid is while you have like wild empathy, you can't actually talk to them or understand them. You can certainly try.
They just screech at you.
That is exactly what you get. The 4 of them coming up kind of stop. The one in the front literally stands up on his hind legs, getting up to about waist high, sticking his little nose up. And you can see the underside of this thing's head is just teeth. I don't know if you've ever seen a rat's mouth before. It is just teeth. They can't even really close. It's just teeth. But he's sniffing
So knowing
up at the air.
that I'm not able to communicate because I've been, attempting this for a few years with no avail. I know that this tends to work with smaller animals. I pull a pot from the top of my head as I'm clanking with different pots and pans from things that I've scavenged in the past, and I start banging and making a lot of noise as I attempt to scare them.
I see him like try and.
Guys, I think this man's
speak to
crazy.
them. I try and see him speak to them, and I roll my eyes so hard, and then I see the pans come out, and I'm like,
And while he definitely can't talk to them, again, you have a way with these animals to some extent, and they've stopped. He's certainly given them pause, and as he bangs these pots together, see the 2 rats in the back immediately bolt back into the darkness, gone. The one rat shuffles back quickly, his hackles raising up, and the one that's kind of up on his feet, sort of snooting at the air, sort of like leans, shying back away, but his nose turns over towards the barrels, the cracked ones you've been investigating. Their hostility has been abated. by that diplomacy check for sure. And 2 of them have left entirely.
Listen, they did not do this. I've just investigated. There are no bite marks, no animal hair.
How convenient.
There's no
Yes,
convenient elf.
I mean, this man just shouted at rats and they ran off. I kind of believe him.
I could shout at rats and they would run off.
Fair point.
What's happening down there?
You're like rat screeching and he's yelling and just like banging puss.
It's been a while since I've been a member of society, but do they still get paid?
For being in the back?
Well, they
We're
would,
going to get paid one way or
They
another.
would just steal it if they did not get paid anyways, so.
Front rat kind of slowly gets down onto his front paws again. And it looks sort of like he's walking forward, but his back feet aren't moving. He's just getting like real long and kind of flat. He's not like descending like a horrible monster. He's just like reaching, kind of pulling himself forward, a nose inching towards this barrel, but still in the safety of the wall hole. Just kind of stretching towards this little
If
fish
no one's
barrel.
gonna stop me, I'd like the fish head that was left on the ground. I'd like to get over and kind of pick it up and nudge it over towards his mouth.
And he is gonna snap that and turn around and bolt back in the hole. The other rat, seeing that he got something, chasing after him.
Man, he really is like my last flame.
Listen, I will not have us harming any animals while we are on this mission. I can tell you right now they had nothing to do with this.
Understood.
That's one dwarf. Do I have anyone else?
Well, it is odd that they were here in the first place, but they did seem rather hungry, so I will believe you for now, but no promises.
I approach quickly onto this elf creature and I start sniffing all around.
You're sniffing my crotch area right now, 'cause I'm way taller than you.
That was gonna go towards a fish remark. Not doing it. Not doing it.
Your face is a little red there, brother.
Now you made him embarrassed. They had a good thing going.
Everybody can.
Everybody just talk about
Pardon
So what'd
me.
you smell?
Your face seems to have turned a shade of crimson.
Crimson. Like
From
croissant.
where I was standing, this pointy-eared didn't seem so massive.
Just flexes a little.
She is very capable of manhandling yourself.
It's enjoyable every time with you.
We.
Always a pleasure.
So the 2 of you making your way down into the room here finally and rejoin the rest of the group. 5 of you reconvene in the center. It doesn't look like there's really much else to be found in this basement here. But, well, there is a gaping hole in the wall, and at the very least, Harry seems pretty convinced that these rats, large as they are not responsible for what's going on. The way we run things generally, that map is going to stay on the table, but we're kind of going to go back and forth between just like theater of the mind and actually move on the map.
Am I to assume that there were no footprints found by her scouting check earlier? As I would have been super interested to look at any of the other barrels to see if maybe people, stopped.
The ominous voice in this guy said there were no animal tracks.
Yeah, definitely no animal tracks for sure.
The wall destruction here looks to be somewhat recent. No dust has settled upon the rubble. But what is broken here is just solid stone onto a stone floor.
Is
so
this
there's
magic
really
wizard?
Nothing to leave tracks.
Sure.
I'd love to investigate it if I could.
Absolutely.
That'd be an investigation
Moving
check.
up towards the hole here, without even needing to roll a check, as you come closer, the torchlight does flicker a bit through this, illuminating what looks to be a cavern, a full natural tunnel that is extending back through the stone on the other side of this wall that is the cellar of the warehouse. It drops into darkness. The lights of the torch left behind, but with your dwarven dark vision, you can see that after about 20, 30 feet, the passageway, maybe about 10, 12 feet around, blossoms and opens up, not just expanding around and above, but dropping off of what looks to be a sheer cliff into nothingness that you can see from here.
And that's the way the rats just went.
That's where the rats just went. You ever seen a rat run straight up a brick wall? Because they can do it.
Yes.
I have not had the pleasure.
Terrifying.
Well, maybe we should send out the rat whisperer if there are more rats.
The last time I checked, that was the entire elf race.
I think that's
Can't
racist.
trust them.
You can't say stuff like that nowadays.
You can when they do to your family what they did to mine, and probably yours.
It wasn't elves.
Are you not the tree hugger in this situation?
I can speak. I would like
to
to.
rats.
I have a bunch of like pots and pans along my side. I'll reach down to one that's tied to a rope, and I'll untie it, and I'll throw it into the cavern, and I'll listen.
So as you move closer towards this edge, your dark vision as well, allowing you to see this cavern, maybe 15 feet back from the ledge here, 10 feet, what's near the edge of the darkness for those of you without this ability. Toss a pot over the cliffside and immediately...
Before it releases in his hand, can I cast light on it?
You would need to touch it to cast light on it. So the moment for that is past. It's already flying. It's already flying. You see it fly off, disappear over the cliff, and immediately clang. You take another couple steps forward and you look over and it's like a 10-foot drop. It's looked more impressive from a distance.
There needs to be no whispering. It's just a drop.
Then maybe I should take a look. And I'd like to go and jump down the cliff.
The group of you will move through this passageway, but I believe not all of you have dark vision. So those of you who are not dwarves are going to need some sort of light to proceed. You can use your light spell on pretty much anything. It's
I think
basically
we all have dark vision. Yeah.
like a glowing handprint that you can put on anything, including just like your own chest or whatever.
You're a dwarf. You have dark vision.
You're a dwarf. You have dark vision.
We
I'd
all
like to
can
cast light
actually
on.
see in the dark.
Yeah.
Elf tiefling.
Cavern elf.
Yep.
Cavern Elf has dark vision?
Yeah.
Does literally everyone have dark vision?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, vibing.
Oh. All right.
Never mind. I didn't know you were a Cavern Elf.
Yeah.
Why are you a Cavern Elf in a fishing village?
That's why I'm really strong, is because I'm a cavern elf.
It's
The group of you moved.
it's dark in the
No
tavern.
difficulties whatsoever. Peak tabletop. This is the we live the meme. As the light drops, like, excuse me, I have dark vision.
I'm just gonna save you this
We
time.
all
so
have dark vision.
find the loud noise. I'm gonna pick up my pan.
Well, as you come to the edge of this cliff, it does cut and drop down. It is a sheer drop about 10 feet. It's not an extreme drop. But going down to uneven natural stone floors below, jumping, if you were going and jumping, so you make me an acrobatics check there, Trixie.
It's a good thing I have 9 tails.
You have one less now?
None. I have I don't know how to say this in French.
That's okay, I wouldn't understand it, so you have to say it in English anyway.
23.
23. Trixie absolutely just walks up to the edge and hops down, landing gracefully on the uneven stone below.
I assume I sweep the dirt level on the ground and it's like a poof of dirty poof comes out around me.
And at the bottom end of this cliff here, you have a good bit more space in this cavern. You can see that against the far wall, this chamber, 30, 40 feet across, there is a huge run of these yellow round-capped mushrooms, almost donut-capped, with dark openings in the center that feed back into the stem. But otherwise, save for a few small, little less than knee-high tunnels, crevices burrowing and jutting off at different angles to the stone, the passageway continues around to what we were left as you come down. The rest of you still up at the top of the cliff.
You know,
What do you all want to do?
You know I have little legs. You want to help me down? Just like lean over the ledge, you grab onto my arm, and show me down.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thanks.
So as you go to move, if you are going to aid him, you can absolutely, for most skill checks, at least physical ones in 2nd edition, you can aid somebody. What you're doing is you're going to roll a d20 with the same check as that he's about to use. So roll me athletics for this one. And if you are successful, roll in that black tray over there
Yeah, gotcha.
so that we can get it on stream. If you are successful, you will give him a bonus to his follow-up check. What did you get?
A 10.
I have a 4.
4 total?
4 total.
You that's exactly what happens. You go to lower, you don't really have a good grip on him. Maybe you don't expect a dwarven density. He's heavier than you think. He goes to lean on you, you let go immediately, and he falls and lands flat on his back at the bottom. You take 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
My tail stand up on end as I'm supposed to. Are you okay?
Yeah. Just throw out my back.
I could help you if you would like.
I'm standing there with my arm kind of outstretched. Well, maybe not the best person to ask for that. That's okay. I will go down next, and then I will catch anybody who else, maybe not you.
If you
but
touch
most of
me.
the other ones.
Make me an athletics check, Katharina.
Let's see here. There's 21.
With a 21, you can fairly easily swing around hanging onto the edge of this cliff and just drop yourself down the last couple of feet. You're an elf. I imagine you're pretty tall.
Very graceful.
Not the acrobatic display of Trixie, perhaps, but you easily arrive at the bottom with no further difficulties, leaving just Harry and... What was your character name?
Vixie.
Vixie.
It's
I wasn't
Vixie and
sure if he was
Trixie, yeah.
joking or if your name was... I literally didn't write it down because I was like, is he memeing or is it actually Vixie? Trixie and Vixie, fair enough. Leaving
It
just
would
Harry
have
and
been
Vixie
funny
up
if
the
I
top.
was.
I'd like to follow suit with what the elf did, although I had that idea first. I'm going to lower myself to the ground, grab onto the ledge, swing my legs down, although a much further drop. Still half the drop distance I would have had the first
Can I
time.
troll him?
Ooh.
I mean, in what way?
I would like to quickly pull out my BB gun and shoot the rock that he is trying to stand on.
You're such a menace.
Make me a ranged attack roll. So it should just be like you were making a weapon attack with your gun.
That is a natural one.
Oh, I'm
Can I notice? Ping
As you
it
go-
back in his direction.
As you go to pull this out and just kind of pull it up, some of the dust from your landing has gotten jammed into the workings here, and you pull the trigger on this, and your gun actually misfires on a natural 1 is a thing that happens. There is justice in this world.
Oh, is that how guns...
Yes,
is that the
guns
gun
still
thing?
have the nat 1
Oh,
misfire.
I lied. That's a 7, not a 1.
But was it a natural 1?
No,
Oh.
this die looks like a 1. It was a
Let's
7.
review the tape. Oh, I think it's whatever you call.
It would actually be.
Really wish it was a 1.
It was 7 plus 9, so actually 16. My bad. I realized because the one's staring me in the face on the other face.
Sadness.
Ryan, it's not like we already do a
I think
tabletop
he
game,
was
right?
asking if he could troll you.
So you you take this shot, and it's not loud. You have what is tantamount to an airsoft gun. So just a little, and a BB kind of glances off the stone near you. Make me an athletics check. It's not enough to negatively impact you here.
Dick.
14 plus 3, 17.
With a 17, you get yourself swung over the ledge, and you have a grip here. But you are, as you said, a lot smaller than Katarina. It's a much bigger distance. So 1 athletics check is actually not going to get you to the ground. So you're hanging. I need a second one.
Can I do it again?
Nothing's stopping you.
A 17.
Dirty 20. My bad. 22.
22, 17. Another BB would crack into stone right next to your hand, giving you -2, shifting your grip a bit to a 15, which is still enough for you to drop safely down to the ground here.
Can he fire his gun after it? Oh, it was not a 1.
It wasn't a miss.
In
but,
my head, that
it
never
wasn't a
happened.
miss.
Yeah.
Got it.
Then I quickly put it back in my tail like it was never there.
I'm assuming he's the only one who's fired anything in the recent future. And as I'm assuming you're below me, I would love to clang a pan as I'm on my way down.
This leaves just Dixie at the top of this ledge here.
Did I see this happen?
This is all devastating. Yes. He pulled out a gun and everybody.
Everyone has seen this.
Everyone sees it. Not subtle. He pulled out a gun.
I make my way down the way that our wonderful elf did.
And I will stand below and heroically hold my arms out to her.
You're a big, strong lady.
I'm a big.
So you make me an athletics check to aid here, Katarina.
So 21.
21 will succeed. So you will roll me an athletics check, but you will get a +1 to this from Katarina's assistance.
Okay.
Did you see what
Did you say athletics?
That's what
Athletics.
you get for
Great.
talking shit.
Because that is the power of climbing.
I'm out there now with the hands.
12. It's not a critical failure. So in second edition, when you roll a thing, you don't automatically or only critically succeed or fail on a 20 or a 1. If you are 10 higher or lower than the target, that is also a critical success or a critical failure. So I'm pretty sure at this athletics check here, Katarina can probably critically succeed on like a 17, realistically, where you could probably critically fail on a 4.
Yes.
So there's some variance. The 12 is a regular failure, so it failed, but not by 10 or more. Which means you kind of scramble. Some of the stone has been knocked loose by the BBs that have smacked into it. Some rubble cascades down on Katarina. But this scree that prevents you from really getting started climbing down here. Do it again.
Just jump.
Yump. Ooh.
There's legs.
What we got?
Legs and arms
What's the total?
everywhere.
Do I still get the +1? 6.
That's a critical failure.
Thanks for the
See,
example.
you're standing here waiting, and you see her swing all the way out to the side and fall about 5 feet to your left. You also take 5 points of bludgeoning damage. Confident party. We're here for the level 1 experience, and boy, we're getting it.
We are thieves. We're supposed to be graceful.
You know, Vixie, I no longer believe.
This is why we don't do
Breaking into
proper work.
one-story buildings.
Was it because we were all watching?
Everybody turn around.
Would you like us to turn around?
No, if you look up there, it's because you
performance
shot
anxiety.
that rock, and it was loose when she stepped there.
What are you talking about? It wasn't.
We all saw you.
We clearly saw you shoot
I have no
Your-
weapons like that.
airsoft gun.
Just have this sword.
All right, this one can't be trusted. And this is a friend of yours? Likely.
Correct on both accounts.
The two of you, a little bit worse for wear at the bottom here, have now joined the rest of the group and are able to see this passageway continuing off around to the left of this cliffside. Kind of almost lumped terraces down. A natural-made cavern, but divided seemingly by random chance or erosion into about 9-inch stone tiers. A bit tall for a comfortable step, but perfectly manageable. About 20 feet in the distance down below, you can see that there is... Okay, everyone has dark vision? Mm-hmm. There will be no color at any point in this campaign. You see a...
Big brain. Good job remembering that.
Slight, colorless, indistinguishable glow. Where there seems to be a small amount of natural light, very small, down at the base of this. Now, you are a bit injured.
Yes, Vixie.
I pulled something in my back.
Do you mind if I look at that? You look rather swollen, your leg, and rather scraped. Would you like some help?
Yes, please.
Now, there is I know if you're coming from 5e, which most of you Ocalians are, your concept of a short rest, I'm going to level with you. I don't know what it means. But I'm going to assume it's somewhat analogous to the 10-minute break in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. There are a lot of activities that you can do with 10 minutes. You can refocus via whatever your class's method to regain a focus point, making that a renewable resource. You can use that to identify magic or potions that you have found, but one of the most common uses is you can use it to treat wounds. You don't need to cast heal and spend magic every time somebody gets hurt. You can just pull out some bandages and some splints and touch each other up as well as you can through purely mundane means. That would be keyed off of your medicine skill. And anybody who is trained in medicine, you would have that first little proficiency pip colored in, would be able to do this to attempt to heal. You can heal yourself, or somebody else can heal you with that 10-minute time. So who's trained in medicine?
Not I.
I'm not trained in medicine, but I have some magics from my wilderness times.
We don't want dirt rubbed into our wounds.
Healing plaster. You do. This particular
Funny you mentioned that.
Fancy dirt.
Back in the war.
And that proficiency on not just your skills, but basically all of the stats you end up with on your character sheet will quite regularly determine things that you can and cannot do. Not only does being proficient in a skill or an ability make the number that you roll higher, it also enables additional actions. Like no matter how much wisdom you have or how high your medicine might somehow be through feats or whatever, if you aren't trained in medicine, you can't take that action to attempt to heal somebody without some kind of like healing plaster cantrip thing.
Sure.
So the two of you, with a bit of a break here, could attempt to check the two of them over, mend them, and see if you can touch them up a little bit before you proceed. Because this cavern here, this seems to be a bit more than you may have bargained for.
Look, I give you crap about the dirt, but I could use some dirt.
Listen, if you're friends with the elves, I have nothing for you. And I'd transform using one of my focuses into a pest rat form.
He is a rat now.
He
has performance anxiety about these things.
And I'd love to be kind of scurrying during this break, just seeing if I can figure out where the rats went, where they came from, if there's hidey holes, things like that.
So, Trixie, what are you doing during this brief intermission?
Well, first, I would like to see if anyone would like to play a friendly game of cards.
Well,
if not...
He's a rat. She's treating her, I imagine. So it's just
whichever.
Roa
then
sitting here.
Is everything a game to you?
I will wander off and go...
I would play cards by myself.
Some other passageway.
You're just going to wander off?
There's not a ton of wander off directions.
Yeah.
The only thing big enough to fit into is really this 15-foot wide continuation that slopes sort of downwards to the north. You could wander off that way a little bit if you so choose.
Well, my attention span is not
Fair enough.
the highest.
Well, Roa, as your healer turns into a rat and just leaves, so what are you doing?
I'll tough it.
All right, you're fine. So, roll me a medicine check here, Katarina.
And I will try and lower my voice. And I may have seen Harry perform this once or twice. So I'm actually going to do exactly what Harry would have done, and I will perform a quick cantrip. And I will. Yes, I have one cantrip. Exactly this cantrip.
Oh, okay.
I printed off a spell list. So I will grab some dirt and I'll pour. This should work well enough. And I pour some alcohol into this dirt, and I kind of push it into this like cast, and I push it on here, and I will try and heal some of this bruising. You know, I may kill you, but that's fine too.
Try to put it in your eyes.
That's a 6 total.
6
Total.
is one off the critical failure, so
Oh.
you don't deal D6
You are
damage.
fine. I watched it one time. I mean, there's only so much
By the
that
way,
I
you
can
can
learn.
critically fail the medicine check and just hurt them.
There's just a knife in the dirt.
You're like, oh,
How did this get here?
here, jam into the wound. You don't make it worse. It is very unpleasant and doesn't help, but
You're
you know.
it's stinging, and now you're covered in mud. But it was supposed to do something, and I know it was because I've seen it before.
And as you're doing this, Trixie makes her way hop, skip, and a kitsune jump down these steps, where again the passageway opens now much wider into a huge chamber, where you can see much of the walls and ceiling are carpeted by a smaller, almost moss-like fungus that looks like it's the source of the dim glow throughout this chamber.
Bonjour.
As you step down the bottom and call out, you look around, you look down, and you see almost what looks like strange ridges in the stone that are like thick, round, like nearly cables, about the size of a wrist. And following them, as many of them kind of angle into each other like supports, they seem to coalesce at the far northeastern end of the chamber, where it's much more clear. It is a very large web of some kind.
Merde, merde, merde.
I don't know what that means.
Good.
Do I see any of this from my rat form?
You are going, I imagine, the opposite direction.
Sure.
Because there are smaller crevices and tunnels throughout the southern and eastern edge of the previous chamber. And make me a nature check.
That is a 24.
He is, in fact, very good at the animal thing. As a tiny rat, sniffing around through these tunnels, over the couple of minutes while this is all happening, you don't see so much as you smell what is almost an overpowering, stale, acrid scent. Numerous places throughout this passageway.
Is this familiar to me?
It is, absolutely. It's rat piss. And you know that they use it
Like home.
you know what they use it to mark to mark passages that they use frequently around their territory. Somewhat surprisingly, rats are extremely territorial creatures and use these scents to ward off competing colonies of rats. So you're certain that somewhere within these networks of small crevices and passages, it will lead down to a colony or a nest where these rats have probably gone back to. They seem to have well and truly left the area.
Thinking about the crevice and maybe an echo by chance, can I and call out to any nearby pests that are in the area? I don't know if I can speak rat while in rat form.
You can certainly make rat noises. Speak is a strong word.
Everybody else will believe it, and they won't be able to communicate with the
To
rats.
anyone that isn't a rat, they'd be like, holy crap, that dude's speaking rat. To a rat, they'd be like, what the hell?
That's a very strange accent.
But it is, make me
I thought rats just
a
screech.
diplomacy check. Your wild empathy.
Oh, that was nearly a 20.
It sure was. Diplomacy, I'm looking at a 7.
With a 7?
Your mother is ugly.
Nobody comes. Nothing comes to investigate. Whether your call is unheard or they are disinterested is
Man,
unclear.
you sure are ugly for a rat
Awesome.
if nobody comes.
Then I will travel back through the tunnels after I've kind of investigated and now understand they're far.
So you would come back as you see Vixie, a large plop of mud just kind of smeared across her shoulders and the top of her spine here. What looked to be pretty forcefully and painfully applied. She doesn't look better.
I look pretty proud of myself, though.
But there's a big smile on Katharina's face. They look like they're clearly finishing up here, as I guess Broa is just grumpy in the corner. Living.
Roa Dorb. I'm still in rat form. How does the transferring in and out of rat form work?
I'd like to say I noticed him coming out. of the
Yeah,
hole.
he is a small, more normal-sized rat. So you would definitely, but big enough that you would certainly see him coming in this
Yeah.
cavern. I mean, I think you'd notice a rat running up to you.
Yeah, no, and I'm gonna talk to him even though he's in a rat form. I won't understand anything he says, but it's just like, you notice anything? Anything good?
You can end the pest form at will, basically, whenever you want.
Dope.
It's one action to focus and end it and turn back.
Dope. I'd like to come out of rat form, kind of growing as I walk up.
As you do, like just a waft of rat piss just hits me, and I'm just like, oh.
That was there before.
Oy vey.
The rats seem to be gone. I couldn't find any. Do you see what I was saying about the elves? She did that on purpose.
Looks alright to me.
What?
I've seen worse.
Looks great.
I suppose.
What are you doing down the cave there, buddy?
I pulled out my my pellet gun and I let off a couple of blasts into the web. See if anything takes notes.
Oh, good.
Okay, now what is that?
We're gonna roll initiative.
Everyone, before you roll initiative, come look at this rock I found over here.
In the opposite direction.
Exactly.
So, as you just loose a couple of
we hear him like,
BBs, yeah, here, a pair of airsoft.
Do we
BBs.
though? We're in like a
Choose
whole
to
other
ignore it.
side of the cave.
Wait, wasn't it like a step down?
It's a step down, but it's probably like, I don't know, 8 feet below where you're at and 20 feet of cavern. Y'all got dark vision. It's not far enough.
We
away
just
to be
hear her go,
yeah.
ah, damn it.
Pair of shots in this massive web. As you're all just kind of sitting around, you're all just going to be rolling your perception for initiative. Perception does also double as initiative in most cases. And since
Those are some polar opposites.
absolutely like nobody is anywhere, you're just hearing the shots. It's definitely perception, and you're looking to see what happens. Absolutely perception for everyone. So we'll go around the table here. Katarina,
I got a total of 8.
I didn't make my cool little initiative markers for you guys, unfortunately. Here,
Dang.
21.
21. And it's again just D20 plus your perception. Trixie,
That is a natural 20 plus 6.
26. Vixie,
A natural 1 with a +5.
a regular 6. Roa,
14 plus 5, so 19.
good news, you can't like critically fail at these. These are initiative. It's just a sorting order. So like the natural 1 doesn't do anything worse than
It doesn't
you're
damage
already
you for 6.
going last. So that's all you got going for you, really. So as you fire a shot off into this nest, before I actually put up the initiative here, roll me a flat D20, Trixie, and this is a concealment check.
Another natural 20.
You can't see if there's anything in there, but there is, and you, by literal random chance, hit it anyway. So now roll me a regular attack roll. That was the mischance percentile die. Now I need the hit roll.
So do you want me to do 3? Because that's what I was going for. Was
We'll
you-
get like 1, and then
Okay.
the spider's gonna be doing spider stuff.
I hate math.
Math is
That
hard
is a
sometimes.
17.
17 is exactly its AC. So, one of these BBs does manage to catch the creature that is in there. And what does your BB do for damage here? I think it's D4 plus 1, isn't it?
It does do D4 plus 1.
So, throw that for me.
So we don't get any modifiers based off of our core stats for damage?
Not on a gun.
Oh,
The gun
really?
does the damage the gun does.
Really?
Because, like,
It's a gun.
Dexing a bullet isn't
Yeah,
gonna make it do any more damage.
Do you have an
What's the
incendiary chaser round or something?
Wait, so does that mean like bows and stuff actually get like bonuses?
Composite bows will get your strength bonus to them.
'Cause you're
Throwing
pulling-
weapons
you're
will get
actually-
your strength bonus
What
to
is
it.
this bullshit?
Crossbows, guns, it does the damage that come out of the box, and that's how much it do.
So I legitimately only have a D4 and you wouldn't let me have the revolver?
I told you like 9 times not to play a gunslinger,
This
and
man-
you did it anyway. D4 plus 1.
Wait, so does that mean my rapier has no extra additions on it?
What's your strength modifier?
It's not dex on
If it does, it gets your strength, which is 0. So
Watch your profanity.
This is some bullshit.
I told you not to roll the character, and you didn't listen.
This is my favorite day.
Is that
Yeah, I know mine too.
that is 3 on the damage?
All right, 3 damage. They came over this weekend so we could roll characters. He's like, I'm gonna roll a gunslinger. I'm like, ooh, that's
not a
so
good
clunky
idea.
and weird to play. You probably shouldn't do it. He's like, I'm gonna do it. What gun should I use? I'm like, well, this one's got like real damage on it. You reload every actual gunslinger. I was, I don't want to reload. I want this airsoft gun. Like, yeah, it does D4. And I'm like,
Well, every other gun used.
This one's got a hollow sight.
every
Every other gun required 2 actions to use.
3 damage!
Is there no Unearthed Arcana for Pathfinder?
There's a lot of things, but Gunslinger is actually really new. It came out in one of the newest Guns and Gears expansions. It's actually a very new class. So it basically has...
Yeah, even chat is like, what the hell, man?
Pathfinder.
No dex on weapon damage?
So the spider is going to get a 20. So it's not first.
So it is a spider. You've been saying a creature.
Freaking shocker! It's a spider.
Look, it could have been a caterpillar. I don't know.
Literally right now, it is going to come shooting out of the web. Before we
how
get
far
into
away?
initiative here, 25 feet up, which I believe will leave it probably 10 feet back from Trixie, shooting out along this web almost
per
immediately after the first shot.
5 per square. 5 per square.
5 per square, yeah.
Gotcha.
So it'll be 2 tiles away with a 1 tile gap away from Trixie.
Gotcha.
But then it would be Trixie's turn because you also want initiative. So in combat, as we are now here, we're going to go player by player down the initiative table, which is just the order of what we all just rolled. That spider has a special thing that goes off immediately as the fight starts, which is just that skittering advance.
You said we can break initiative earlier.
No, that's if you want to
Slow
hold
down.
your
Yeah.
hold
Oh, you
your
got
Gotcha.
action.
When we get
Because
to
if my dwarf had to pee,
Then you just wait.
your
Yeah.
dwarf is like third, so if you want to run and pee real quick, you will.
my dwarf's gonna try to pee into those little mushrooms over there.
So, Sam, what does
Give me
finesse
one moment
do?
to do the overview conversation, then
Yes.
done with haste. So every turn of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, we don't have action, bonus action, whatever. We don't have standard action, full action, move
Okay.
action like 1st Edition. You just have 3 actions. And you can do absolutely whatever you want with those 3 actions. Most basic things that you would want to do, moving up to your speed, attacking with one of your weapons, interacting with something, or getting something out of your bag, or using an item is all just almost universally going to take 1 action to do. So you can do them in any combination. You can do them any number of times. You can just bap, bap, bap 3 times with your gun as your 3 actions. But attacking specifically in quick succession will carry a stacking penalty throughout the turn each time you do it. Spells will say how many actions they are on the spell cards that we gave you, as will many of your feats or abilities from your character creation may take some actions to use, with the vast majority of spells generally taking 2 actions. But there is nothing stopping you from even casting multiple spells in a turn if you have the action economy to do it. So, pee with quickness, my friend.
Understood.
And Trixie, you are up first as this spider, a massive, brown, rigid thing. Not hairy like a tarantula, but with spindly, armored, almost glass-like legs and a bulbous thorax that shimmers in this dim light coming out from the fungi around the room, shoots down this web towards you, intent on defending its lair. But you are very fast and rolled a natural 20.
Okay, so I need to know this because even chat is confused.
Yes.
Does finesse not mean I use dex for my weapon?
Finesse means use dex to hit, but not to damage. So you will use...
There's no additional damage that you could do with your dex.
There is
Gun.
literally nothing at this point that you can do to ever hit somebody harder than D6.
Making you more accurate. That's where dex
I
comes in.
told you
point.
like 50 times. Not to do this.
I did not understand what was going on that night.
Listen to the guy who's played it for 2 years.
Look, this is a different system to what I am used to, and I am learning. And
But you D6 is not negligible damage. Most people are only going
It's
to be adding
D4.
well, it's Rapier's D6.
Oh,
yes.
Most people are going to be adding like 2 or 3 damage to their attacks at this point in the
Okay.
game. So you're not going to be hitting Mondo numbers on anything. You're not completely sandbagged.
Well, I was just concerned because it seems like your average ton of damage is like 2.
Yeah, level 1 combat.
This is what level 1 combat looks like.
One of the things that Pathfinder 2nd Edition really tried to do, especially in a change from first, was to make low-level combats less instantaneously lethal. Because level 1 combats in 1st Edition very frequently where whoever went first instantly killed the other person. Because health pools were low, damage could get very high. Yeah, Bryn can grab that for you real quick.
Honestly, they could really fix that in 5e by just giving a second hit die.
But now you get health from your class, you get health from your ancestry, you get health from your con, and damage values are not monstrous. Like, sure, a barbarian can come in with a greatsword, D12, and just blow somebody away instantly, but it's the exception, not the rule. So your 2 options, more or less, are to keep shooting at it with your gun for D4+1, or you can pull out that rapier, close in, and use the big ol'
The-
D6.
You know, I think the best option is to continue to yell Marde as I run the fuck away and shoot back behind me 2 times as I leave.
I cast
Absolutely.
Tangle Feet.
As,
Nice.
not,
I know.
As you retreat, these kind of large, unwieldy stairs leading back to the other chamber are functionally going to be difficult to raise. So moving back up them, I assume your speed is 25. Every one of the tiles on this grid represents 5 feet. With 1 move action, you would be able to move 2 tiles backwards. You could take another move action and come basically all the way back up to the party. You would still be able to see down to the spider from there.
Is there no opportunity attacks in this?
The spider is not actually at melee, he's like 10 foot back, but generally no. That is a specialized feature now. You are much more free to move around.
Okay.
It's a fighter-specific ability, attack of opportunity.
Gotcha.
So yeah, don't assume every monster's got that. They can have it, but it is actually very rare, especially at low levels.
Understood. Sorry about that.
So then I will use 2 actions to dash and fire off 1 shot with my
As you, Katarina, come running up into the
It seemed
room,
like scrambling up.
cat.
Oh,
Cat, there's a problem.
you run around and loose a shot down, and everyone from up here can turn and now see at the bottom of this cave this spider down there rushing out.
17 on the damage.
That is the number that hit them last time. So
It is
do
very
it again.
good, yes.
And he double moved.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate. It was a 4 that would have hurt my foot.
And I'm assuming
And it's a 1 now, so 2 damage.
2 points of damage as a second tiny BB lodges itself into the spider. And running up, screaming and panicking, it is going to be Harry's turn here, as he didn't even get an opportunity to really explain what he'd found before Katarina comes rushing in.
Marte, there is a giant spider.
there's nothing to fear. And I want to step out front and try some diplomacy. You do not want this fight. Trust me. Go back in your home. Let us travel through.
Do you move up? Do you get
Yeah, he
closer?
moves up right in front of the steps here. And
I like hold myself looking over his shoulders. Yeah. Tell it his mother is a dirty 4-legged pig.
make me a diplomacy check.
Is that
again,
intimidation?
my druid? Or you can try to intimidate it. Yeah, go with dealer's choice. Honestly, whichever you would like to do.
That is a 15.
On the intimidate.
Intimidate.
So, one of the basic actions anybody can take is to attempt to demoralize, which is to scare a creature. Normally, since it doesn't, understand you, yelling at it with this intimidate would take a big penalty. But I'm going to let wild empathy apply here, because 15 also gets it exactly its modifier. Seeing it's already been shot twice, it's pretty angry and doesn't seem like it's going to back down. But you do make it kind of scuttle to a stop for a moment and second guess the situation. It is now frightened 1. That is a status penalty that is going to basically -1 any die that it rolls and make any target that you need to hit, like its armor class, 1 lower as well. You need empathy with 1 action left. 1 to move up, 1 to demoralize.
I would like to. You see Harry get on all fours, look up as high as he can from that position. His teeth start to bare, and he growls like he would at a animal in the forest. And that'll be my turn.
The spider is confused and admittedly a little afraid, and you see it kick its whole body up, and it is large. This thing's body is larger than you, not even going into the span of its legs as they kind of fan out around it. As it arches up, it brings its abdomen down forward, almost like a scorpion's tail, pointing the spinnerets at the base up towards you, as with a kind of squelching noise, a blast of sticky white web shoots out towards Harry. What is your armor class?
16.
Well, it has a -1 to this shot because it is frightened. And it's extremely frightened because it rolled a natural 1. And you are going to see this just splat across the wall next to you as a spread of viscous web. As it slaps down and skitters all the way up towards you to bring its fangs to bear instead.
Man, this is very strange.
It has no difficulty navigating these steps. Pulls back its head, 2 dagger-like pitch black fangs snapping towards Harry as he growls at it on all fours.
When would I be able to raise my shield, as I know I have a shield
Yes.
present?
I forgot that you had one. Shields are very active in 2nd edition, and as you kind of got down
As
in
an
that
action,
position,
I would have needed
yeah,
to
as
do
you kind of
that.
got down in that position, you could have used that to put the shield in front of you for sure. You basically need to use 1 action to keep your shield at the ready.
Yep.
And then you will get the armor class bonus from the shield, as well as the ability as a druid to use it to shield block should they hit you successfully.
Totally what I would have wanted to do.
Yep,
knowing that
absolutely
thing.
the thing that we said.
And just as for you at home and for you guys, it is just the top half of a stump. Like the cut directly down the center, big old circular chunk that I hold. There's no grip. I just hold it in position.
much
You
for
didn't even whittle a
nature.
handle or anything?
It was dead. It was not going back. These are all of my
So
friends.
you are a necromancer.
These are all of my friends. Yeah, technically.
With your shield raised, then you will get that bonus. What is your armor class?
18. If it's a +2. If
It
it's
is a +2 for
18.
the standard shield, yes. Now, as the spider is frightened, he's taking a -1 penalty, but this is also his 2nd attempt to attack for the turn, so he's going to take a further -5. So he's attacking you at a -6.
Huge.
Whereas, I know your 5th edition is a lot of multiple D20 advantage disadvantage situations. Most of the bonuses and penalties are a lot more granular in Pathfinder because they are numerical. They are adding and subtracting things rather than rolling 2 dice and doing the better or the worse.
Very interesting.
So -6 on his normal attack roll. Still an 18 on the die. And he ends up at a
-6.
+3, so 21 is what he's going to end up. -6 does not fully negate his penalty. Now, since he is hitting you, you can use your shield block reaction. Once you take your turn, you get those 3 actions, but you also get a reaction you can use if your class has one. Not everyone is going to have one. Druids can use it to block, and that will mitigate the actual damage. It could potentially damage the shield. But, the spider is going to punch you in the face less, which is generally pretty good.
That's what I want to do.
So bringing that up the block, you should have a shield hardness there. I believe it's probably 3
It
on
is
a wooden
3.
shield. You will reduce this
It
damage.
is 2. Oh, hardness 3.
Yep, it will
Hardness 3.
reduce the damage that you take by 3. And it is going to do 6 points of piercing damage. So you will have that from your block. You will take 3 damage. Your shield will also take 3 damage. And I believe a wooden shield has 12 health.
It does.
Once it gets down to half, it will stop functioning as a shield. So with this first hit, your shield is not beyond hope, but the fangs of this thing have punched through, knocking a chunk out of it and making a pretty large set of holes. The shield's pretty clearly visibly damaged. It's still good enough to be used to block and protect yourself, but it's a good smack. And as these fangs punch through and make contact with your arm behind it, not only are you taking a little piercing damage, I'm also going to need you to make a fortitude save. You should have 3 saving throws, fortitude, reflex, and will, that are on your sheet but are keyed off a couple of your core stats.
That's not good. It's a 2 on the dice, a 7 total.
Well, that's not a critical failure. Because he's frightened 1, which lowers the DC of the poison. Everything he does is down by 1. Now, what kind of dwarf are you?
I am a...
You took the one that I
I'm
think had
pretty
like
sure
poison.
you're stone
yeah,
blooded,
I did
aren't you?
indeed.
yeah.
What's that mean?
That means that he has poison resistance.
Oh,
I have Ancestry Rock Runner. Or stone, or strong-blooded
Yeah,
dwarf.
the heritage.
Yes.
And the rock runner is the ancestry feat,
Sure.
which actually would mean that these stairs aren't difficult terrain for you.
Oh, cool.
But that heritage means that you have poison resistance equal to your level. It doesn't stop you from getting poisoned, but it does dramatically help you from getting unpoisoned and recovering. It also means you're going to take 1 less damage, which is 4, so 3. And as his burning venom injects into your veins, it's got a bit of a numbing property. You feel a bit woozy. Your vision goes a little bit hazy. You are also going to be considered flat-footed as well, which is going to be a penalty just to your armor class. But that was the spider's third action. So for now, it is Roa's turn.
Sweet. So does fear stack?
Fear does not stack, but it diminishes naturally. So at the end of the spider's turn, it is actually going to stop being frightened. It has overcome its fear. It has fought through it. The penalty diminishes at the end of the turn, so it's no longer frightened at all.
Gotcha.
You could frighten it again now, for sure. But
Gotcha. So I could use a spell fear.
you could use the spell fear.
I could.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Okay.
an option.
It is an option. I'd like to get closer. Use one of my actions to try to get within a decent range. Where am I at? Right here.
You're about 15 feet back, so you're relatively close.
I'm
it's
close.
made its way most of the way.
I'm close enough to use produce flame. I'd like to use produce flame on it.
Absolutely. You don't even have to move to do that. You can
Yeah,
go
yeah. No,
from
I'm
where
gonna
you
stay I'm gonna stay where I'm at and then use produce flame so that I can retain that action.
are. All right. And what does that look like as you do it? It's flavor text.
So the flavor of it is actually it's gonna be like a black and white flame with like a hint of crimson in the center of it, just because of the fact that I may have pursued some dark magic whenever things were going so hot for me. I don't know what that looks like in
That's awesome.
Perfectly fine.
All right, awesome.
And as you throw that fireball towards the spider, it's a 2-action cast. You'll have 1 left after this, and it is a spell attack roll.
I got you. Produce flame says it's a cantrip.
Yes, that means that it is a spell that you can
Can
cast
use
an
infinitely.
unlimited number
Gotcha,
of
gotcha,
times.
gotcha,
Yep. Spells that are first level are going to take one of your spell slots for the day.
Gotcha.
But cantrips are your bread and butter. You can throw that little fireball as many times as you want.
Gotcha.
I put your spell attack roll under your ranged attacks for simplicity.
Range strikes.
Yep.
Gotcha. And that's 6.
Yep, so you will roll a d20 and add 6 because you do have to physically hit him with a little fireball.
Gotcha. Can't tell what that is. That's a 7 plus 6 numbers.
13.
Thank you.
With a 13, back here is you have all of Harry and his shield and everything in the way here.
Yep.
This fireball is just going to graze, spraying a little spout of flame across its back as it just glides across the spider's abdomen and smashes into the ground behind it.
And
It's not
into the
going-
webs behind it.
Into the stone at the base of the stairs. 13 is not going to connect.
Gotcha.
So you would leave you with 1 action left.
Gotcha. And produce flame is 2, a 2
Correct.
spell.
This is the caster's conundrum: is what do I even do with the third action?
Yeah.
It's a constant question for
You-
the casters
you
among us at
can-
low levels.
Hide or like take cover, kind of. You have seen he has a ranged attack.
You have seen him shoot. One of the default actions you can do, is a great idea, is to take cover. It is a little bit down from you on these stairs, a little bit obscured. You can kind of hunch down, take cover, use the top of that natural kind of descending staircase as cover, and give yourself a bonus to your armor class should it huck that web towards you.
Gotcha. I'd kind of like to stay where I'm at, to be honest with you. And you said I can like brazen myself. I can get defense. What were you just saying?
Yeah, taking cover.
Taking cover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have to move anywhere for that. You're just kind of like hunkering down in the square a little bit because he's a little below you.
Gotcha. I'd like to hold fast where I'm at and try to hunker down.
And that will give you lesser cover. So a circumstance bonus to your armor class if the spider attacks you at range. And after you, I come around to Katarina with your wonderful 8.
Okay, so it is hard for me to see exactly how much room we have in the cavern around our dear friend Harry here. Is that something I could squeeze by? I know there's a spider right in front of him, or is that something I will just sit here and be on this side?
It's all difficult terrain anyway, but I think it'd be a bit wide enough that you could squeeze up next to Harry. It's about a 10-foot tunnel.
Okay, so I'm going to move up next to Harry, and I'll grab my scythe here, which many of you would actually recognize as just a farmer's tool from our local farmer.
Bring a weapon.
Because that's expensive and weapons aren't much. So I move up, and I am going to reach my scythe out, kind of worm it between Harry and the wall, and kind of turn it sideways, and try and hook one of the legs of the spider, and get it to maybe trip. So I'm going to try and trip the spider.
Okay. And there are I could not possibly cover all of the litany of various actions that you could take within combat, so we'll explore them as we go. But many of the weapons, like Finesse, which is so thoroughly disappointed Ryan, have traits that allow them to do different things. Your staff, for instance, if the situation becomes so dire that you're bonking people with your stick, does, I believe, D6 damage, but has two-hand D8. If you wield it in both hands,
It says D4, and then
D4.
two hands D8.
Two-hand D8. If you wield it in both hands, you can do D8 damage with it. Finesse means you can use your dexterity to hit them instead of your strength. And Trip on the site means you can use it to attempt to bring a target down with an athletics check.
Are you saying that this is more complicated combat?
More, a lot more options, that's for sure.
It's very difficult to get my weapon in there, so it's going to be a 10 total.
It has a lot of legs.
Yeah, it's hard to trip a spider.
It has a great amount of legs. And it's kind of like, I mean, it can avoid you with like 3 or 4 legs at a time, and still have most of its legs on.
It's got like this thing going
My
on.
favorite.
That's definitely not going to bring it down.
You hear me? Yes.
I'm rooting for the spider.
You know what, David? Why is it every time I play with you,
As you've
there's
been
always a
poisoned.
goddamn spider?
One action left.
I'm going to. I will hear that. I'm an elf. Be like, it was trying to be non-lethal, and kind of in a sing-songy, and then I'm going to turn the scythe again and just try and stab up into his stomach.
So as your second attack of the turn, you will take a -5 to the
Yeah.
attack roll. That is the general penalty for attacking twice in a round.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that is 7 plus 6 is 20. Minus 4.
What?
17 plus 6 minus 4.
So, okay, well, 17, like 7 plus 6 is 24, and you've lost me. 17 plus 6.
Oh, 23.
23 minus 4 is 19, minus 5. Is Size Agile?
No, I guess it is.
Is 18, which will still hit.
Right.
Agile is another weapon trait that makes it better with successive attacks. The penalty is only -4 instead of -5.
Do the monsters have different ACs for ranged and melee?
They do not. They have simplified it that there is just a universal armor class. Pathfinder 1st Edition had 3 armor classes with standard, touch, and flat-footed, and it's just armor class now. We didn't need all of those. This is basically
Good job, Paizo. Good job.
Merde.
That
Is this-
indeed a D10.
Okay. Sorry.
We're there. We're good.
We've never used D10.
What is this object?
What is this object? Not very good is what it is. Still awkward angle, so it is a total of 5 damage.
That is higher than both attacks that I have done so far.
It's equal to both attacks you've done so far put together.
You are right.
10 points of damage on the spider, and it is now Vixie's turn. So now there's not a ton of space up here, but I believe you've got a little crossbow.
I do. So with my ranged crossbow, what is my firing distance with that? Like-
Definitely enough. Not the 30 feet here in the cave. It's
Gotcha.
probably like 60 to 100. It is not going to be an issue in a cavern.
No problem. And the +7 I add to my D20 roll,
That is
correct?
correct. Yes. So
Okay.
if you want to just take a shot with that crossbow, as this spider has, is it a light crossbow or a heavy crossbow? What's the damage?
That is,
I don't-
What is the damage die on that?
A D8.
That should be as a light
Trait,
crossbow.
I like
trait,
crossbow.
trait says 1d6, and then dice says 1d8.
Oh, the trait, that's for
That's
sneak
for
attack.
that's for the sneak attack, right? I'm pretty sure it's a light crossbow.
Yeah, I think so.
So you
was
get
cheap.
your crossbow in hand, but you do need to load a bolt into it before it can be fired. You can't really carry a crossbow loaded as you're scrambling on cliffs and everything. So your first action is going to be loading it and then firing for the second, which would be a D20 plus that
Gotcha.
modifier.
So
And
two
then
actions.
because this is my second action, it's a -5.
Only if it's your second attack.
Oh,
Multiple
okay.
attacks give you penalties.
Gotcha.
You can attack at any point in the turn that you want.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
it's full bonus.
All right. Perfect.
Chance's crossbow's 120 foot range, so yeah, we don't need to worry about it.
That's 12.
19.
19 will hit it.
Perfect.
Bolt lodges into the thing's body. It's a fairly large target, even occluded as it is by your friends.
That is good damage.
7.
Plus anything?
It's just going to be D8 and a crossbow, similar to a gun.
Okay.
No amount of cool trick shotting is going to make the bolt do more damage.
Gotcha.
So 360 no scope won't do any more damage?
But with a 7 damage bolt slamming into this spider, that is going to be enough to put it down. So, Vixie, what happens as this bolt connects with this creature?
Oh, I load the bolt into my crossbow and I take very careful aim and I shoot it directly in its forehead.
And as that lodges, this thing's fangs stuck right through Harry's shield.
Right in
its
front.
face right up in front of you. You see this bolt right in the center of its 8 eyes. As it just slumps down, you feel its weight dragging down on your arm as it's still sort of lodged into your tree stump here.
From the back, I yell, "I'm sorry!"
You know, you guys keep throwing things like over my head. It's very concerning.
I want to catch the head of this thing, this creature, lay it down. But I want to figure out if I think healing it would help at this point.
No. It has a crossbow bolt in its brain.
As I
Unless you can
grip
turn back time.
as I grip the crossbow bolt, I say a prayer and I yank it out.
You know, I think you look like a
You
cute
left
couple.
this in something. And I toss it back as it clanks against the stone behind me.
Are you upset your girlfriend has now become deceased?
I'm upset we're killing things that don't need to be killed.
I mean, to be fair, it did look at me funny.
To be fair, it did
What were you
poison
doing down here by yourself anyways?
Well, you see, the thing is...
Listen, he's already tried shooting at 2 of us, and now he's investigating things without us.
Yeah, he was just
Are
kind of carelessly shooting at rocks.
Are you counting the spider as one of us?
No.
Who was the second one you referred to?
Me and this awesome person.
I never did anything like that.
Then how did she fall?
I'm going to walk up. I'm going to walk up to Trixie and pick her up and keep walking out back into the other cavern.
That's
Just keep
right, Elf.
walking.
You take them.
Just like full bear hug.
Yeah,
pick up
full
the-
bear hug, lift her
Cats,
up,
no,
and just gonna keep walking.
I had everything under control. Okay,
Yes,
that's fine.
yes.
I want to check
my
the
ears
body.
go down.
I want to check the body for any
eggs.
eggs. See if this is not a mother who is about to give birth.
So he's looking over the spider.
I wedge.
You are carrying
Get out my side
Trixie.
and then.
You're carrying
Bear.
Trixie down into this cavern here. Vixie, Roa, what are you two doing?
So can I see the end of this spider's nest at all?
As you come down and make your way
Yeah.
following the rest of the party, it would be clear to all of you this large nest, this mass of webbing in the northeastern corner of the chamber. But also equally visible is the fact that this sort of natural cavern narrows back once more and continues on out the other side, a little to the left of that main hive.
I'm
Don't
still
need to worry about map movement.
I'm still confused about the fact that there's a spider in here, there's tons of rats in here, yet somebody blew this wall down, used these caves to get out the goods.
Clearly wasn't any of these animals. Why are we attacking them?
What?
One
They
of them
attacked us
attacked
first.
us.
That's not true.
As they're having this conversation,
You don't
I'm
know
going to
that.
make my way over to the colorless objects that we saw before.
It's the matted, almost moss-like fungus that's really spread throughout this spider's lair, across the walls and the ceiling predominantly. The floor is pretty devoid of it, but there would be some within reach on the wall, certainly.
Can I do an investigation check on this item?
So make me a nature check from Roa, perception from Harry, and probably a nature as well from Vixie, as Katarina and Trixie are just sort of picking their way through the webs here.
Yes.
Maybe are you trying to cross this chamber and just make distance and keep going?
No, I was actually gonna go back.
Oh, you went back. Oh,
yeah.
okay. My mistake. You went back the
I
other
don't
way.
really like
I
going
understood
into
that
unknown
wrong.
territory.
Do you by chance
Nature
have any
check
of
from
the glug glug on you?
It's a dirty 20.
I will hook you up.
Dirty
Excellent.
20 on the nature check. What you said makes perfect sense. It seems after what you've seen at the end of this cavern here, it is undeniable that it is not animals that are simply consuming these fish. It would have to be an intelligent creature to be able to pick its way through this spider's lair. And looking at this cavern, the webs across the floor are these large strands that could be avoided. An intelligent creature could like step and pick around them carefully and not come into contact with them and quite possibly make their way through unscathed. This sort of spider very much is just an ambush hunter.
Does the spider have any gold on it?
The spider does not have any gold on it.
I didn't know if he was being bribed.
What is your perception check?
13 plus 4 plus 7, so a 20.
Another dirty 20.
Nice.
This spider it looks to be a very solitary kind. They're sort of territorial ambush predator. It appears to be a male spider. You know, with your druidic knowledge how to gender spiders. I could make up some stuff about how you tell, but I'm just going to leave that to your druidic insight.
It a big. Never mind.
Spinnerets. Big spinnerets.
Yes.
So there's no concern from that, and you can't see any signs that any other spider has come towards this nest anytime recently. There's no sign of how or when this massive beast mates, but it certainly wasn't recently.
Just an additional check on what I already know. I'd check the maw to see if I find any fish remnants whatsoever.
You wouldn't find any fish remnants, but looking around this investigation, what you would see is near the base of the nest structure in the northeast, what looks like a small, wadded, almost cocoon. And with everything you've seen about this spider, you can't imagine it be pregnant or have children, but that certainly looks like it is something that it has encapsulated fully to protect. Give me your nature check, Pixie.
It is a 19.
With a 19, the fungus along the wall here is interesting, but beyond that, not useful or notable in any real way. It's got a very light, minor bioluminescence to it, and it glows often in chambers where these ambush predators lurk, where there would be carcasses and some amount of flesh and decay. As it obviously can't pull nutrients straight from the stone, it subsists on what little bit is left over from these hunters and these nesting creatures. You two, on the back.
So, Trixie, we have had this discussion before. You know that little voice that tells you when to
take
shut up?
from the people who. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. You don't have one. But we have decided that I will sometimes step in and maybe be that voice sometimes.
We? Are you saying that there was a problem?
Maybe just the Harry seems kind of on edge today.
I mean, to be frank, he could really do with some de la cool.
Do we know where his flask is? Because I can always get your assistance to spike that maybe just a little bit.
We. I did consider it while we were, had the spider fangs right in front of me. I was just like, ooh, I wonder what he's got on him.
I do feel very bad about stabbing the spider, but it was in the heat of the moment.
It threatened me, and it looks like it wanted to eat me. Again, very similar to past relationships and past.
So I'm gonna kind of dig in and you'll see the same rubbing alcohol that I put in the mud, and I'm like, so. This is the stuff. It's very effective.
I take
And
away.
I will subtly look over to reels. They're very focused. Not to worry. This is probably a good time. And I'll hand her the little
Rubbing
flask.
alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol. Similar consistency
The toilet cleaner.
No. I
That's
like
the
it.
good stuff.
He won't notice.
like a bull.
He smells like piss anyways.
Oui.
Speaking of distraction, Harry, are you investigating this small cocoon here?
I think that I would. Yes, I want to. Before I touch it and disturb it, I want to understand what it might be,
Right.
looking back at my history.
From
or
a close range as you approach, it's certainly not an egg sac. It would be much softer and almost certainly hidden away more into the heart of the nest itself. And looking down at it this close range, it's the same fibrous webs that the traps across the room are laid with, that these like catch strands are made from. It's thick, it's viscous, it's sticky, and you can see little bits of bone poking out the bottom, a couple of little sets of tiny claws. This is clearly a food sac.
knowing, trying to understand the mechanics of the game a little bit. I'm down HP and I want to use my healing plaster on myself at some point in the very near future. I don't think that I would be messing with that sack of bones. Like that's his sack of bones. Someone else can, but I'd alert them to the sack of bones
And tend to yourself.
and then tend to myself. Yeah.
Okay. So as he points that out, is anybody else? I imagine you two are now coming back down to the chamber here.
Looking very innocent.
Oh, very innocent and massively innocent.
When can
Most
I
innocent
make
ever.
this stealth check?
I want to know. I want you to
Vixie,
know
do you have
that
your
I'm
dagger?
very cautious of the elf.
You have your dagger.
I
So
was
anyone
gonna-
friends of the elf, I'm
cut this thing open?
cautious of. Just want that on the record.
No.
That's on the record. Man.
Can I use your dagger and cut this thing open?
Yes.
I'm gonna cut the sack open.
You can keep the dagger.
Hacking through this web here, it's surprisingly difficult to slice through even with this honed edge of this knife. It looks to be the skeleton of a creature that's quite small. Looks like they're maybe only 3.5 feet tall, with a very broad, flat skull, somewhat like a crocodile's, but perched on a strangely humanoid body. The creature looks like it had a tail, as well as kind of wide, flat, almost just conical horns perched back on the sides of its head. It looks like a small, it's just bones at this point, dinosaur person, almost. But tucked inside with this creature is a small steel short sword that it seems to have borne, as well as tucked back behind its hip bone, a red flask in a very simple clay container. Can't give you this one yet because you don't know what it is, but you do have it. Now, with the 10 minutes while Harry here is tending to himself, anybody who is trained in crafting can attempt to identify a strange potion, elixir, oil, or whatever
That's
this
not me.
is.
I think I just want to spike his drink.
Anybody trained in crafting?
Me.
You're trained in crafting.
Normally I'm crafting beers, but
So you, Harry, roll me a medicine check. Oh, as you use healing plaster to tend to yourself, and then Katharina, a
put you off your game, man.
crafting check as well.
That is the perfect opportunity.
That is
to-
this plus my medicine,
That is correct. Yes.
so a 7 total.
Doesn't critically fail. You don't stab yourself. You are able, with this thing put down and with your stone-blooded nature, to very easily overcome the small amount of poison it injected you with, so you don't take any further damage or anything from it. But beyond that, you can just kind of patch up the holes in your body where the fangs have punched through your armor. It isn't bleeding out anymore, but
Is he still poisoned?
no, he's still blooded. He's
I gotcha.
fine. And it was your crafting check, Katharina.
I've rolled so many 15s tonight. That is a 19.
We take those.
With a 19, you are a bartender by trade, so identifying mysterious liquids is something that you're probably pretty okay at. Looking through this, it is a thick, viscous red syrup almost, but it doesn't have any kind of a sweet scent to it. It's not any kind of fruity or anything. In fact, it is seemingly extremely bitter and otherwise almost flavorless, just like liquid to chalk. Regardless of its relatively off-putting flavor, it is a minor healing potion. Which, when consumed, would heal for 1d8 hit points. To use it in combat, anything like that, you would need an action to pull it out of your bag and then a second action to consume it unless you're walking around with it in your hand. But of course, out of combat, you can just drink it all willy-nilly if you feel like it.
Would I be able to investigate the bones and find out if maybe it was like there was any type of struggle to find out maybe if someone put this here to distract the spider to get through.
Absolutely. But let me get a thievery check from Trixie first, as shenanigans are afoot.
Shenanigans.
Oui. That is a 19.
So there's another concept here of a DC. He is attempting to spike your flask here, Harry. So whether or not you see him is dependent upon your perception. But second edition, to prevent us from having to wait for twice as many rolls when things like this happen, the aggressor rolls and the defender uses what's called your DC. Your anything DC is 10 plus the numbers. So your perception DC in this case is 10 plus your perception modifier.
17.
17 and 19 will succeed. So you're able to get this rubbing alcohol while Harry is distracted tending to himself here. Very quickly and quietly slipped into his flask. And for you, as this creature is vaguely humanoid, it will be a society check to see if you can tell much about it.
Society check. Oh.
After I do that thing, can I kind of like get back kind of in front of him in an area and just like pull out my own flask and start drinking from it?
That is a 19.
So
19,
thirsty.
I see 18 on the dice, so I'm assuming you're untrained.
Yep.
You would know 19, it's a common enough race that you're pretty confident. The skull is very distinguishable and kind of gives it away. You're pretty confident that this is something called a kobold. Kobolds are little tiny lizard people that are one of the more prolific subterranean races throughout the world, and especially throughout the Starstone Islands where Atari is located. They're typically little more than a nuisance, because they're not the smartest creatures on the planet.
For my own sanity, are you saying kobold, like with an A, or kobold?
Kobold.
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 Okay.
Kobold.
Oui.
Yeah, kobold. But they are sentient. They have their own civilization. They are generally rather mean-spirited, and it's not unheard of for a group or a gang of kobolds to get together and cause a generalized nuisance. It's not impossible that kobolds could be your perpetrator, but why they would be stealing a crap ton of old salted fish?
I was thinking
out
more
of a
along the lines of
warehouse?
whoever is stealing this stuff grabbed this thing, like tied it up, and then threw it at the spider.
Oh,
to
that's
get
how they
through.
bribed the spider.
Yes.
Cost him a kobold.
Yes.
Fair enough.
I like your thinking.
But after 10 minutes here, you investigating, you doing your best to heal. We're not great at the healing in this party.
Can I heal without knowing a cantrip to heal?
Yeah.
If you train in medicine, yes.
So no.
You do.
I don't.
It
If
would
it has
be.
a little check
would
mark.
be on proficiency.
What is your number for?
Yeah, what's the number there?
Yeah.
3.
What's your wisdom?
0.
Then you're
10.
probably
Yeah,
trained.
you are
You
trained,
are
yeah.
probably trained. Yeah.
Okay.
So then, absolutely,
She's a rogue,
you.
so like many trainings.
Yeah, you. We
Much
would say
training,
that
so
you would
wow.
realistically have brought a medicine kit with you, which would mean that you could absolutely use that time to attempt to tend to yourself. I assume.
I would like
as
to
well.
do that, please.
Normally, so this is a one shot. We'll just let it go. Normally, you've already been treated for that. You have been treated, and it would be an hour before you could attempt to do anything further with that.
Gotcha.
But for the sake of continuity and theoretically stabbing yourself, can't give up that potential. Give me a medicine check.
Roll to hit.
Yourself.
14.
14. It's a fixed DC for medicine checks.
Oh.
It's 15.
You're so close.
Is that a critical failure, though, right?
No, it's just barely a regular failure. But it's on you kind of landed on your back here. It's kind of hard to get to yourself. You got this dried mud
Valiant
kind of
effort.
limiting your movement.
So according to chat, you can actually heal on the same person as long as it's different person applying.
Oh, is it by source and not by target? Fair enough. Then you could do that anyway. But regardless, the end result is 0 health return. We're terrible at this healing thing.
Well, can I walk over to Roa? I've just now noticed that he also fell off the cliff. And
I've been holding my back the whole time.
Just get them all out. Get them all out.
Sorry, buddy.
So I accidentally switched. When I gave him the rubbing alcohol, I accidentally switched the rubbing alcohol with something decidedly less. It's the
Just alcohol, maybe?
So I was going to cover this in the hallway, but I'll go ahead and get it here a little
Did you
bit earlier than I
accidentally give me
intended.
the healing potion?
I will.
Did I? Maybe.
There was a
Well,
secondary
you didn't
system.
have that till.
I know.
There's a secondary system in Pathfinder called Hero Points. And as we had moved on from this room, I was going to give you each one. But you know what? I'll go ahead and hand them out right now if you like them. So I'm going to pass these down the table. These functionally can be used on any D20 roll
Can I
to
call?
re-roll it.
It's like an inspiration in D&D.
Sure. Yes, that was a thing that happened when we played. Yes, it is almost exactly identical.
So I take out this liquid, and I'm like about to pour it on you, and you notice that it smells horrible.
Ugh.
And I'm like, oh, never mind.
Was that intentional?
Or try a different one.
You've been drinking?
Pains, I'm assuming.
We always flavor our do-overs.
I know you're a bartender, but you smell like alcohol.
I tried to keep that one for Harry. He actually enjoys it. Much better. It's not a critical failure, probably.
Probably.
So that's a 10 again.
Fail.
Yeah, it's not a critical failure.
Not critical.
I didn't
You
poison
are
you.
all terrible at this.
I know. Some worse than others. Me the worst.
But after yet another colossally failed medicine check, it doesn't seem like there's much more to be had in a spider's lair, and you're no closer to the source of these disappearing fish.
So we move
This
on.
cavern does continue on past this.
Oh yeah, we were here to recover or investigate.
Yeah, not to shoot at rocks.
And as it does, you reach a point where it angles around to the left and actually ends in a stone door. The natural cavern seeming to give way and connect with what is clearly a carved structure beneath the earth. But before we proceed into that, we're going to take a mid-show break here. So we're going to stand up, stretch our legs. I've got to run to the bathroom.
Me too.
Fill our waters. Feel free to grab some snacks or something. We'll be back in somewhere around probably 10 to 15 minutes. We'll leave you some highlights in the meantime. Hopefully you're all having a good time because this is the absolute clown fiesta I hoped it would be.
We have highlights.
We'll be right back, everybody.
We.
Now, I found myself a pretty alright side source of coin, but I need that money. So unless you got your own solution, if you got a way to fill that particular gap, I can't help you, I'm sorry.
You mean you want us to help you make this place busier? Bring you more business?
Oh, I thought she was asking for a bribe.
Yeah, how about I just slap some gold on the table?
Oh, but no, she has income. This is
needs-
income
I meant
that she
more
needs.
piss off kind of way.
You are not going to be sorry. This is going to be so much fun.
Again.
We're honestly doing this.
Makeover!
Now that I think about it, in all of my travels, I can't think of any bar like this that I've run into that didn't have some illicit side business to
Look,
make ends
this
meet.
is not what we are here for. Miss Zuri. Zuri, was it? Beautiful.
Yeah, you know, Tyrannus, we're actually doing a pretty good job over here. I think that maybe if you just like
Maybe it's time for you to take a little break. Maybe a little vacation. Maybe go to the other inn you were staying at, have a nap.
This is
Clean
ridiculous.
your
They are
armor.
my ancestors, and the crypt being defiled by whatever it is this woman is allowing to happen in her very own establishment. We are not simply going to rebuild her tavern for her.
Well, why not? One good
Tyrannus.
turn deserves another.
She is a criminal! And,
I
she just
feel-
shrugs.
I don't
Tyrannus.
see any criminal activity going around here, and that's pretty strong accusations there, Tyrannus. For a man of the law, that
And he
seems
gestures
pretty harsh.
back at a table behind him. That is at least 3 ounces of flay leaves. That is...
That ain't illegal around here. That's just
And the guy
frowned
at the
upon.
table just shrugs.
When you
And Zuri looks down. It doesn't look like nothing to me.
Yeah.
What are you doing nosing other people's business anyway? And Tyrannus says, are you serious? Is this hive of scum and villainy? We are going to help them.
Now, Tyrannus. Now, there ain't no good in just throwing out words all over the place. Why don't we go for a walk outside for a bit? And Dalaran's getting a bit excited, too. Maybe he can say...
Monocle off in his excitement.
Tyrannus, perhaps you and I
As
can
he's
get
getting a
some
little
town
worked up here,
guards.
Zuri kind of elbows, walks over around to the edge of the bar, and just looks at Tyrannus.
Is he seriously trying to intimidate the fully armed and
Tyrannus,
armored
this
soldier?
is exactly Tyrannus' response. He just points at his helmet, points at the other helmet, like, are you serious?
now.
Tyrannus, perhaps it would be best if
So as the boggards on the ramparts here, as the fight continues, start to call out and summon forth some of their allies, more boggards are starting to amass. And I'm gonna roll initiative for these lads.
I wouldn't.
They're not super quick to respond, but they're here now.
I see Resume over there just cowering. I'm like, you can grab a stick too. As my, like, as you see the arms that I'm just, like, pushing along become a blur.
I'm trying to keep him occupied.
So, are you rowing away from Dalren? Because, well, he has
Yeah.
freedom of movement. He's not, okay.
You'll be fine, Dalaran.
I'm good. I got this.
What is he
See you, friend.
Alrighty.
I'll come back for you before he starts suggesting. No, not to worry.
hold it off for just a little bit longer. We're gonna get inside.
Good work.
You're doing a good job.
And we never saw Dalren again.
And I'm going to spend 3 actions just putting my feet in the water and kicking.
You've got large feet, so
I got
you
big
know,
feet.
it helps a lot.
I'm a halfling.
Alright, 5. Several more of them are going to make their way up into the tower above.
Excellent.
You can see about 6 of them up on the ramparts by this point. They have got a pretty good number.
Yes.
2 of them are scampering as quick as they can, and one up top is calling them and pointing down to the raft.
Once
The lower
in a
ramparts
blue
see
moon,
all of you paddling towards the front gate of
maybe
the fortress
once,
are going to start
twice
together
in a lifetime,
This is gonna
if
fly
you're
over
lucky,
for a 31.
you have a moment
Does not crit.
where everything
If you get us over those
seems
doors, I may be
to
able to
come
fly them over.
together.
Give me a minute. I'm gonna
And that
try
moment,
limit
you
their
can feel
ability
like
to kill our
everything you
caster.
know,
And,
everything
I'm
you've
gonna
done,
cast out, a fireball. Take the fire!
You finally got to do one!
Lesbian's arms are out and she just is exulting. And then she's like, oh yeah. And then she'll come back and she'll shield up again.
Alright, making sure you keep some defense up. Alright, buddy.
It's the first time you've been able to throw a fireball and not feel like a war criminal.
Why you make me feel bad about my AoEs? As she pointed out her father and Gelinor, one of the main hunters of the Leopard clan, sitting together, quite close, chatting a bit across the way. Her father and Gelinor dancing around each other for a decade, and life is too short, even for elves. Perhaps especially for elves.
Honestly, a mere decade, and she already wants to push them into each other's arms. I don't see how this could possibly last afterwards.
A mere decade. Gosh, I mean, no wonder. No wonder so few procreating around here. You guys take forever.
Well,
2 weeks before me and Bonnie were married.
boggles the mind how quickly you humans move.
So
If
glad
humans
I'm
built
not there.
Acroville, they would have simply slashed the trees down and built a wooden palisade as opposed to this palace we stand in now.
Would have been a lot more convenient to get to. Rur, what do you got, man?
I was thinking, what if, while the mood's been set, I can bait them into talking each other up?
Galenor turns his attention off of Resme for a moment, towards you. Rur, what are you? You are
Well,
a very small human, if I have ever seen one, but I feel as if you are something else entirely.
it is along those lines. For simplicity, you can.
And as you start talking, Renavo just reaches out a hand and just puts it directly in front of Galenor's face, and just back of his hand across his mouth. What a ridiculous lack of manners you have! These are guests, Galenor!
It's no big deal, I promise. You both seem like you have plenty to tell.
Really? I hunt. I bring back fish. I bring back food for the clan.
But you're skillful.
You can see it that way. It is not that hard.
Well, for some.
Fish do not run far.
I see what Renavo sees in him.
While it might not be hard for some, the understanding and the knowledge is still something that people do find to be interesting.
Perhaps. Perhaps. And Renavo
He's my
kind
brother from another mother.
butts in here. Is what is the word for this? He does not speak much of his own valor. It is a part, perhaps, of what makes a hunter. Keep to themselves. Got nothing but the company of his own head for days in the jungles. And forgets how to leave it when he comes back sometimes.
Stop. I will not be attacked in such a way.
I'm in this picture and I don't like it.
I'm in it and I don't like this picture.
I am acquainted with an individual of a similar demeanor. It's rather endearing at times.
Little grumper puss.
He grows on you. Do not know if you'll be around long enough to see, but believe it or not, there is a pleasant person somewhere deep inside this body, and he goes around the shoulder.
Somewhere.
I really did not realize until this exact moment that this is literally just Buddy and Esther's but exercise.
Yep.
Down to their very classes.
Wow. And things just took a turn for the awkward.
I ship it.
So, as you're talking here,
I'm a little stunned by that revelation.
you see, and so I did not realize this literally at all until this role-playing scenario. I'm like, holy crap, this is just Buddy and Esther's.
I've always thought they were kind of sweet on each other.
You know, Estes, remember that one time you taught me how to slow dance?
Vaguely.
You wouldn't want to teach anybody else, would you? Maybe they would get a better idea if they had demonstration or something.
We're not telling Bonnie about this, right?
Nope.
Okay then.
Goodness gracious, you two have so much more depth than I ever thought.
Don't worry about it. Let's go.
Okay.
Some absolute dedication here. I wish I could play something to accompany.
Now let me show you right here. Now you guys are perfect. Now come over here and learn how to dance. Man. Me and Estes will show you. It'll be really good. Good for learning.
And Renavo looks at the group of you. Okay. I will admit this. You have earned at least some trust that stands up. I'm curious. I have heard from some of the children about your northern dance. Come on, Galenor. And Galenor still is sitting on the ground. All right.
Steps uncomfortably close to Buddy. One arm around his waist. And one arm out.
One arm around the metal.
Yep, one arm around the metal. And
Daughter enrages.
Clank.
Fireworks
in the background.
Step forward
Zap,
to copy and. I'll go ahead and jump us over to ye olden map screen. Yonder.
No, not again.
Oh, yonder.
Put this like hereabouts. So I guess I can make this a little bit bigger. Renali and Esvis are going to make their way down to the mine on their own, trying to scout out and learn
We
anything
were
that
really
could be
holding
useful.
them back if they're that fast.
Gonna make it through 6 hexes in a single day, a 60-mile journey through trackless rainforest.
Renali just uses her twine, like her really magical web stuff, and she just builds a big Esphis slingshot and just fires him across the rainforest.
He yeets him up.
His ears hover. He glides back down safely using the power of ears.
But if you're heading out independently,
Pierce.
Oh, I hit you good. That's it.
I just got a picture of him. Like,
The Bugs Bunny helicopter, maybe, or the.
it's gonna be okay. Shh, it's alright.
sometimes you gotta just hit you exactly right.
When he gets to where he wants, he grabs the tips and just parachutes down.
No, stop! Because I'm picturing him in
You're not imagining Esmus, you're imagining Matt doing it. Alright.
To be fair, I was too. That's why it was so funny.
I don't know which is funnier, honestly.
Yeah,
if
they're
you
both
imagine
amazing.
Estes like with that face that's like on his token art, just completely straight faced, holding his
The joys of flight.
The joys of flight. Oh yes, where are the peanuts?
After you get your final preparations here, readying your spells, weapons, and armor. At the far end of the light, can see a bit of glimmering bluish color. Not just on the floor, but wrapping up the walls and the ceiling as well. As the group of you work your way down onto this ledge just above the strange shimmering blue fungus. And as the light comes much closer, they refract that much brighter. The room now almost mesmerizing as you climb down the final step here onto the bottom. And as you do, Esvis, who is at the moment helping Rur down, does not really have
I'm
that
at like
luxury.
face level to these clouds. They just hit me.
So you are both hit by these spores, which are fantastically itchy. Spectacularly itchy.
You have
And
poison ivy.
Contact dermatitis. Enjoy.
as they kind of coat you here, both of you
Well, I guess
Is
we
it
could
just
go.
one?
Whoa, Esphis,
second
you're
one,
looking.
yeah. Second one, stupefied one.
Okay.
Esphis, you okay? You're swaying like a daisy. Wow. I think. Oh God.
You know, as they itch, you can also see.
Esphis, not right now.
Renali's walked all through this with no problem, and she looks very confused over the pair of you. And there's the resume. What's wrong? Hello and welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed our ancient highlight shenanigans from the Elden times. But we are going to return now to the Menace under Atari. So far, our brave new Pathfinders have mostly survived each other. But
Each
also, also a horde of large, angry rats, and also
I feel
a
that.
very large spider, and also a camera. Also, I just broke my pencil. So
We are off to a great
everything's his dad can go over there. Going fantastic so far. I just broke this clip off. As we left, we had continued on from the spider's lair down this winding corridor as it twisted its way, continuing to the left, almost doubling back all the way around towards what must be underneath the original cellar. A slow decline of this natural cavern, gradually bringing you deeper beneath the surface of Atari above. And you had come to a strange situation. A stone setting into the wall. I think I said a stone door. What I meant was a worked stone wall with a pair of arched wooden doors, braced with worked iron around their seam and their edges, set in what is clearly a man-made structure of some kind. The cavern does continue past this, with more of these deep terraced stairs shooting yet further down below the earth. But certainly this door is, well, interesting enough for me to narratively say it's something you notice.
Yeah.
So I'll approach the door. As I walk up to the door, I start an investigation, and I'm looking for any traps on the door.
So as we're moving around, because we've all had this situation, right? Has this ever happened to you?
This
the
is a real thing that
GM
happened.
describes a door. There's a door, and it's just a door. And then your party deliberates for 45 minutes about the myriad kinds of traps and ambushes and bombs and crossbows and ballistas and lasers and dinosaurs and
we were
entire
right.
armadas that may be lurking behind it. Don't worry, exploration mode has got you covered. As we're coming through, and you guys can tell me if your travel has changed anytime. You are still seeking any sign of what has happened to these fish here. You were investigating as you were. You, Katerina, were scouting, looking for signs of something that was nearby, and I believe you had been investigating as well in the first place. So now that you are no longer locked in your discussions, the two of you, it would make perfect sense the rogue would be searching, looking for suspicious things like tripwires or traps of any kind. What would Katerina be doing as you traveled? Or not Katerina, sorry, Trixie.
I was gonna say, I was like, wait, Trixie?
Yes, Trixie.
Hello.
What are you doing as you travel to the caverns now?
I am looking at Cat and going, "See, I told you it could have been her."
Being a nuisance, all right?
I mean, I could be helping her fix. Advising from the sides.
Now that this has descended into something a little more questionable, deep beneath the earth, more than you had expected, those of you with shields can focus your attention during exploration on keeping that shield at the ready. So you will start combat with your shield raised. Should anything bad happen, you could be trying to avoid notice, which would allow you to actually roll stealth for initiative instead of perception. Casters among you could be detecting magic or repeating simple cantrips. But as we approach the door, for now, since it is Vixie who is seeking, we don't stop for 25 minutes to investigate the door. The rogue who is seeking rolls a perception check to see if there's anything about this, as everyone else is still tending to their various activities, watching the path, searching for anything of value.
What am I adding to it?
Your perception.
Okay.
Would you like a different die?
Yes, please.
You have 2 new ones.
An 8.
Looks fine to me. The
like
door
a
is clearly quite ancient, of an old, outlandish make that is very detached from the modern state of the world above. This looks like it's been here for at least decades, if not centuries.
Would it happen to be like a double door?
It is a double wooden arch door, yes, coming to a peak, maybe like 8-9 feet overhead.
I want to open the door.
And you push it open.
Oh.
And
I don't care what you want to do. I want to go through this door.
as these two doors creak surprisingly subtly on their hinges, they reveal a room gutted with mold and rot. The floor covered in dark, ambiguously colored patches, as the walls as well are covered in similar dark, ambiguously colored patches. A torch in a setting behind a strange stone altar in the middle of the room casts a probably regularly colored flame across everything. We all have dark vision. There's no color here. But this altar in the middle supports a single pristine silver bowl that appears to be full of clear water.
Vixie, don't get any
Behind
ideas
it, a massive stone sculpture of a huge squid looming 10 feet tall. It's in the book. I didn't make this up. Tentacles twisting out every direction, reaches around the edges of the room and out towards the bowl and the altar at its center. Now, since you two are investigating, this is a weird situation. You both get an opportunity to roll the knowledge checks here. Roll me a religion check, whether or not you are trained.
Dirty 20.
12.
It's funny that you know this and he doesn't somehow. You would recognize this setup here, this altar and this strange sculpture, to be a sort of deific feasance to the god Gazra, who was the god of the natural order and storms in the forest and stuff. Gazra is a very bipolar god in two sides, known as the wind and the waves. But everything that is put together here is clearly dedicated to the more aquatic nature of his domain.
Neat.
Fair enough. Doesn't tell you anything particularly useful. It's just,
Seeing this.
Can I drink the water?
Absolutely, you can drink the water.
I want to drink the water.
Do it, nerd. I love you.
He
Pushes
just
the doors
walks
in,
into the room and
walks up,
drinks the water.
Picks the bowl up and slurps.
Stop, it's parched.
Oh, wonderful.
He literally has the minifig set up in this position already on the map.
Perfect. And reaching out as the group of you in the door just look on, taking
I
in
am
the room.
flabbergasted. I was expecting this door. I'm like standing there with my jaw dropping as he just walked in the room, and then he's like walking up to the drink, and I'm like,
He's not even paying for
It's a massive basin. You're 3 feet across.
You said it was
and
silver?
Yeah, silver.
I want
basin.
to. I want to take that silver bowl.
He tips it up and slurps back some of the delicious water within. And you heal for 7.
Wow.
The
About time.
latent fragments of Gazra's divinity still instilled within this holy chamber near immediately regenerate your wounds, but make me a fortitude save, as miracles do not come without their price.
my jaw is on the floor. On the floor.
You literally watch his wounds like bruising, close, and recede.
Maybe you should start keeping that on tap.
That's a 9.
So as he drinks this, you see you see him just patch up perfectly. But then after a moment, he stops and coughs and splutters and hacks some of this back up. And you are sickened to your stomach. It feels like the rolling ocean has hidden itself within you. You are going to take a -1 to all D20 checks while this persists.
What are you doing?
You know, maybe you shouldn't have that on tap.
Seeing him. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do I still get to
I
keep, do I
respect
still get
your
to keep the
decision
bowl?
making a lot more now.
Sure, still
Anybody else want some of this water?
Seeing him go to drink the basin reminds me that I am thirsty myself. I reach for my flask and I open it, and then he has the reaction, so I pause as I look at my canteen that is covered in soil from me being in the wilderness for so long, but there are fingerprints.
They're not yours.
They are not mine.
You have gloves.
I do.
Chet has a point. There's a flame. You can see color in here. It's a blue flame emanating out from the torch. It's casting light. We don't have the dark vision.
I do also have gloves.
But you would have soil on your fingers. I need hands right now as I lift the pan off of my head, as I mean, gripping it tight. You can hear Vegeta's gloves. I need to see hands right now.
I'm just coughing.
As I look at those two and I see nothing.
Harry, now this is a bit extreme. Do you not see that one of our friends is going to die? Look at him.
You
He's
know,
about
he
to die.
the concern
He is
for your
dwarf. He
own
is
race.
fine. As you pull your hand out, do I see any?
Make me a perception check versus your deception DC. So 10 plus your deception. You roll that 20.
Baby.
19. Close enough.
I'm pretty sure he probably beats your deception DC. You don't roll, it's 10 plus your
Yeah,
deception
yeah.
modifier. There's no roll.
then yes, it is 16.
Why did you roll?
You beat it just with the die. So what's your total?
19 plus 7, 26.
You critically succeed against this deception DC. You are at,
There
see
there
the
is a
smudge
God.
on his finger perfectly aligned.
Saboteur!
Karma is a real thing. You with utmost confidence know that it is Trixie who's best with your flask.
As I point the giant the pan in Trixie's direction. Do you all see? Not only did Trixie fire on me earlier in the cave, but she is poisoning me now as I pour out all of the container of my drink.
That was good stuff.
That was.
Listen,
And
you
here
all
we
have
was-
one choice. We tie her up or I kill her.
And here we were trying
Now,
to lighten
Harry,
the moods a little bit.
Harry.
As I cast Shillelagh on the pan.
I'm going to try and wave, but did you even smell it? I'm going to try and wave the like really horrid smelling thing that I know he probably likes. And be like, but it was
What
the
if we both
good
cast
stuff.
Shillelagh?
It
Does
was
it do
the
anything
good
more?
stuff.
I haven't touched that in years.
He was just
you
trying
must
to
like
lighten
it.
your mood. You seem so unhappy.
We
Do
felt
you know
bad
what it
for
is
him.
to give a recovering alcoholic alcohol?
I did not know.
What is a recovering alcohol?
You would not know. You would not know, obviously.
This is not
Harry,
something I've
I
never
am
heard
so
of before.
sorry. It was my idea.
He shot at
Harry.
me? Tried to poison me.
Harry,
I already distrust society.
So did
This is
you use your
happening.
shillelagh? Did you grab
Here's
one?
Cash Shillelagh. You see from the wooden handle of this pan, a swirl of almost living branches wind up around the iron surface. Almost razor sharp leaves budding out around them, bent to tips like thorns wrapped across this pan here. It is a shillelagh pan now for 1 minute.
Now, Harry, you remember that one time that I fed that dog in the streets? I was very nice, and I would
Are
like.
you defending? He literally shot at me. She shot at
It
me,
is a
and she
wolf.
just poisoned me
I mean, it
as
is
I
a-
go to swing.
Everybody roll me perception for initiative.
You said perception for initiative?
Perception for initiative, because whether or not you're participating in this.
Oh, I want to participate. I want to help him.
Is that a 1?
You're really good at this.
Katarina,
Once again.
Katarina, what do you have?
13. Slow on the
16?
uptake, I would say.
Is he 16?
13.
13. Harry,
13.
13.
Since he's the
I
enemy.
guess roll that off because I would normally
He's the
just
enemy,
ask
so
who
like he
wants
would
to
have
go
an
first.
priority.
But I guess we have to roll it off.
Oh, look at that. Another
That's big,
15.
that's
My
big.
Just
gosh.
roll up, or just D20, whoever rolled higher.
Oh, 15.
She got it.
Okay. Trixie,
Is it just a 16 from me?
Trixie.
1 on the dice plus
Get it
5,
right
so
one. Broa.
18.
So, Broa, as you see, here we go to raise your hand here. You are the first, you see this is happening. And you are the first to react to this situation.
I laugh. So what exactly happened? You got a shillelagh with him? Does that like combine
He is
him?
swinging a massive thorny death pan at Trixie.
How close are you guys?
You guys are all in the opening of this.
I
all
gotcha.
like arms reach to each other.
Can I just like throw the water on him?
Which is him.
Cool.
Both of them.
It's a huge thing of water.
Huge thing of water. He just. The two of you are behind him in the middle of the room, and he flips this huge pan with all the strength he can muster towards you. And you feel maybe not the wind, but definitely the waves gushing out from this. And both of you,
When Harry.
both of you, heal for 1. It's just washes across you. I'd say with you, that's an action. You get 2 left. You want to. The pain just clatters across the ground, loudly echoing through the chamber, reflecting the flickering blue flame of the torch across the walls.
Can I sweep his legs?
Make me an athletics check.
Sweep my legs?
Yeah, your legs. Why not? That's a 10 plus numbers. Athletics is 0, so 10.
10. What is your reflex DC, Harry?
Reflex DC is a +3.
So 13 then?
A 13.
10 plus. Rowan tries to take you down as you go to swing.
I'm laughing the entire time.
Not a ton of force behind it, really. That's gonna fail.
All right.
You have 1 action.
No, I'm not gonna do it again.
You can do it again.
I could do it again.
It's at a -5, but you can do it.
They're facing each other?
Yeah, I imagine.
Can I give them a shove into each other?
You get
I'm just messing with them at this
You
point.
step over, you just kiss. Trixie.
Can I roll to like make them like they actually kiss?
Athletics again. Give me a -5 because you kind of got your weight into this trip.
I got you.
Bring this all around to the push.
Ooh, 18.
13.
Yeah.
So 13. What's your fortitude DC?
Fortitude's +5, 15.
Damn.
You push him. You just get a little extra mustard behind his
Add like a plus.
Trixie, you see this pen coming, but you react first.
Could I, by chance, duck out of the way and like jump behind him and try and hold his hands behind his back?
You can attempt to
Grapple.
get away or attempt to grapple him. You can attempt to pull some
is-
gymnastic grapple here.
Is that athletic?
That is athletics if you're trying to restrain him, acrobatics if you're trying to like get past or away from him.
Okay, well, I would like to get behind him so that my ally is now flanking.
Oh.
All right. Make me an acrobatics check. The map is irrelevant here. Make me an acrobatics me.
That's a 17 on die plus 7.
That's I'm sure going to succeed against your reflex DC is a 24 unless you have plus 14
I
reflex
do not.
somehow. It's going to critically succeed even. So even if before you can get this swing, in a flash, Trixie is...
Tails in your face.
Trixie is behind you. You are between Trixie and Roa here as you went to just kind of shove you together. And she slips to the opposite side of him. 1 action. You have 2 left.
Can I do a diplomacy check to demoralize him?
You can do it. You can make a diplomacy check by talking to Lugo, but like
That's what diplomacy is.
you can't like roll a diplomacy number against his character to make him stop. You, Ryan, can diplomacy Lugo. You can roll to intimidate him.
You're at disadvantage, just so you know.
I've already forgotten your name. Harry. Okay. Harry, look, this is not it's a misunderstanding. We don't have to do this. Alternatively, I strike him with my rapier.
I'm hoping that diplomacy check was one of his actions.
Do you want
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There's a quick line to cover him. The sound of the steel unsheathing from his sheath, I suppose, as he whips the
Is
tip
that
of
an
his sword
action?
to you.
Taking your weapon out?
As an action to move behind you, saying something is free. It's an
Oh,
action to
but
draw,
you
an action
can
to
attempt at
stab you.
diplomacy. That would be an action.
You didn't. I could have rolled.
Understood.
Roa.
Moving forward. Understood.
Roa, we're gonna do before you tell me what that is. Before we get that roll, Roa, I need, I suppose, the fantasy version of Screw, Marry, Kill, which is friend, foe, or flanking.
I love that.
So friend, foe, or flanking.
Because you have Trixie who was on the opposite side of Harry from you, who was really hoping to be flanking right now, which means you need to treat Trixie as a friend and Harry as an enemy. Is that accurate or no? I think you treat them both as enemies.
I was realistically just messing with him, but I would more so want to treat him as an enemy. He's been a menace the entire time.
You are not flanking.
If he was flanking, I'd like to put him in full Nelson, but I can't do that.
Know her intentions.
Yeah.
Oh.
But give me then the attack roll on your rapier.
Okay, that would be not fantastic. It is an 11.
Not
11's
fantastic.
Really kind of focused on talking, and you just feel like a little skirt across the side of your armor, and see the tip of a rapier just sort of shoot past your side as it doesn't quite punch through. And now it is Katarina's turn.
Also, you turn Russian.
Okay, so I'm actually
It
going to
happens sometimes.
diplomacy. Now, Harry, I'm sure this has been obvious to you, but she's part fox. I don't know if you know much about foxes, but they have very circular logic and morals.
You can't roll diplomacy on a person.
Well, I don't know, just like I guess just well, I don't know. I guess not. I don't know.
Is he really a person though?
I guess that's
He's kind of like a swamp person.
No, he's a great character. I love it. So I guess that's that. I guess instead of rolling out, like that's my actions. I am going to spend
you can use
3
an action
actions
to like try. I mean, Lugo, if you want to leave it up to the dice, you can accept.
No.
Like,
I mean, that's fine.
You can't just like
I just
force
happened to-
diplomacy.
No.
upon a player.
I picked up for just.
Was
out of
this the
habit.
intention of this room at all?
Absolutely. How could that possibly?
You're right. I'm sorry.
Did you plan this?
No. It was
chamber. Let's go.
So I'm going to, and so yeah, I will stay very passive in my, like I've talked to a lot of crazy people in my bar.
Talked down a lot of angry drunks, I'm sure.
A lot of angry drunks, and I'm going to try and talk down. You know how wild animals are sometimes, and I will be really talking down this, trying to talk down, maybe appeal a little bit. And I'm staring very fast. I know he has got Shillelagh. He's like murder in his eyes.
Gonna come around to the King of Shillelagh here, I believe.
So that is my that is my full turn.
Awesome. Is it my turn?
Sir.
I want to establish that I do not have a foe here. She is ambiguous.
I am very
Currently
ambiguous. Very ambiguous.
So I want that to be confirmed.
Isn't she an elf? Oh, she
Yes.
Not a foe though.
She's your foe, but you're not her foe.
I'm swinging as hard as I can.
You turn around, make an attack roll.
Oh, come on.
An 11 plus 6 gives me a 17.
What is your AC?
That is unknown. 18 AC.
Dex character. Just barely able to dance out of the range.
Shillelagh doesn't give me a plus.
Shillelagh gives you a +1 to hit.
Let's go!
Plus strength weapon, it's an 18.
You know your class. You know it. I like
Bonk.
bonk with force. That is a bonk right there.
The pan collides with a resounding metallic thunk. And what's the damage die on that? D6? It's a club.
It is a D6.
So you get 2 D6s
2d6 total.
plus your strength modifier.
Plus my strength modifier, which is 3.
2d6 plus 3 on the Shillelagh.
That is an 8, 9, 10, 11 points of damage to
Bonk.
your dome.
Trixie for 11.
How much health do you have?
Have we ever done inter-party damage?
Nope.
This is the first time
I'm glad we
Not
could.
since colon check.
I'm glad that David and Ryan could bring that to the table, as they
I
usually
didn't
do.
know this was a thing that happened.
How does Trixie look?
Trixie, how do you
Well, my
look?
mascara might be running low.
Looks fine.
Did you just look fine? 11
I
points of
guess
damage?
so.
I only have 20. I would be at half right now.
Yeah, but
All right. Examples of single action items that I'm capable of doing currently, as I am out of spells that I can do. An attack is a regular action. I'd be
Attack's
minus
just
5.
an action. You'd be -5. You can just hit her again.
It's an 18. There's no way I'm matching that, even with a +7. That's not true.
It's still a +2. So you got like, you
it's only
can
-3.
20% chance to hit.
Hit him again.
Yeah, most definitely.
I'm still laughing
are you
in the
the
background
barbarian, or
at
am I
his
the
Vegeta
barbarian?
gloves.
I'm a freaking wilderness guy you don't mess with. Why are you shooting at me?
He calls for the rats to come in.
Roll that again.
We're gonna re-roll.
Roll that again.
Come Come on!
What was it?
Natural one.
The second one, the fury behind him, just the wildest whiff, hitting nothing but air here. There is nothing stopping you from swinging a third time.
My spell?
Do you have a one-action spell?
My shillelagh is not a
That
spell?
was on your previous.
Oh, that was on my
Your
previous
shillelagh
turn.
before this started, yeah. So if you're going to swing a third time,
What's the minus here?
it is at a -10.
Okay.
So you will need a natural 20.
All right, I will raise my shield in the direction of Trixie.
Don't have shows like this back home.
Large wooden chunk still missing from this with a spider had ripped into it. And
Yes.
now, like 5 seconds after that, it's Vixie's turn. There's
Yeah.
a delay.
Everybody is in shock, and you're just still trying to think here.
So we all think this is uncalled for, right?
No, I'm loving this.
I really didn't know this was gonna happen.
Oh, I knew this was gonna happen. It
I
was
also
never a
knew
matter
this
of
was
if; it
going
was
to
only a
happen.
matter of when.
Shot at me. Poisoned me. What do you want me to do?
Well, I shot at the place where your foot was going to be.
Anyway, sorry. Trixie, you go. Trixie delays again.
You can. She delays. I think she would profoundly delay Roa. If you want, tell me whenever you want to step in and take your turn. Roa, go ahead.
So what are we looking like right now? It's. Are you like trying to flank him? Like what's our positioning?
Well, you're kind of all just in a mess.
I gotcha.
In the room here, you are on the opposite side of Harry from Trixie, where she's kind of ducked around behind him, and he just turned around towards the door, and just a big old bang. And on the back side of Trixie is Vixie and Katarina on the outside of the doorway towards the hall.
I was flanking.
Yeah, but he's not treating him as an enemy. So
He
he's
was
not.
treating him as an enemy.
I was
Oh,
looking.
that's true. That does, you
In
hit,
fact, I know we're not going to retcon it now because
Yeah.
you said we're not going to do that, but that's a thing.
I guess you would have been flanking. You definitely would not have made the second thing into a hit.
Sure.
I saw
It wouldn't have
he
happened.
was treating everyone as
It
an
wouldn't have
enemy.
Roa.
Sorry. Just reminded me.
Because he attacked all of us.
He attacked you specifically.
No. He
Oh.
pushed him. And he
Bro, what are you doing?
flung
Are you
water on
delaying
all
or-
of us.
No, I'd like to try to stop this. I'd like to try to get them separated in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be try to grab him or gesture you to grab him.
Physically separating them, no matter how you slice, it's gonna be an athletics check.
All right.
Pleading
At-
to the giant elf woman to separate them is a free action.
Katarina, I implore you.
Unless you have something like magic or something you want to use.
Nah, I don't want to use any magic on them. That seems like a waste.
Because you far
Do you want to make an athletics check? You could try to pull them apart with athletics. You can
Oh
throw
god, my athletics is absolutely 0.
it. Sure is. You're a casket.
I'm not a graceful man. Look, I would implore you to maybe do something, but I'm gonna try to whap him with my staff.
Who are you laughing with your stuff?
This guy, Trixie.
+2 because you're flanking.
It's not +2.
Sorry.
He's flat-footed, which means you have a -2.
I'm
Understood.
on the other side of him.
No, yeah, from...
We're
no,
theater of the mind.
yeah.
We're flanking.
You're behind him, but like he could move around to the doorway.
Okay.
Or if you want to move his flanking, you can flank, but you'd have to move there. If you just reach out to smack, you just smack him. Yeah, sure. They would be flanking with him.
I'm actually,
Don't feel bad.
actually,
Don't feel bad.
No. Actually,
you said what you were gonna do. Don't feel bad. Make the attack.
all right, fine.
Give me the ball.
Make the
Keep playing
attack.
roll.
Maybe you
One-handed or two-handed. Doesn't matter. That's a 2. It's like
Stop
Cranky
it.
Kong with the cane.
I was thinking that. All right, look, I've done everything I can do here. I'm
You want to
gonna.
step in? Or?
I'm gonna try to stop them by just getting in between them, and he's as tall as I am, you're shorter, so I'm gonna just try to put my hands on his shoulder and say stop.
Make me an athletics check. You can first physically do anything. It's an athletics.
Can I
check.
get
You
some-
can definitely just grab him and attempt.
Can I get some
to hold-
communication while
Yeah, you
this
can
is
just
happening?
say things. You guys can talk at any point.
If it will stop, then I will calm down. But this is twice it has affected me. I will not allow a third.
I agree.
leave the
I
room.
agree. I want to get paid just as much as the next guy.
Then I'm done. If she messes with me, you have my back.
100%.
Deal.
Okay.
My shillelagh vanishes, and I replace it on the top of my head. Shield still at the ready.
Trixie, you doing anything?
You know, all I was trying to do was lighten the mood, but you've just taken it from like kind of agitated all the way up to murder hobo.
And she's really holding it, but I imagine a 11 is pretty bloodied face, probably.
I have 5 HP currently.
Very bloodied face from a strike.
So, you know, Trixie, that little voice really could be doing a lot
I
right
still do
now.
not know what this voice is that you keep speaking of.
Yes, well, maybe just try really hard to be quiet.
You tried shutting the hell up.
But just in case, I'm going to sidle between them.
Do you have any of the...
And I'm gonna slide in between. I'm gonna get behind her, and I'm gonna ask you to follow me.
Yes, do we have time to maybe try and patch up some of the flattened of the face?
Sure. You want to fail another medicine check?
Yes. This time for sure, guys. Don't worry. I know exactly. I will use the good stuff.
If possible, in that like thought process of I'm done, I'll walk by and head up towards the squid thing and kind of investigate.
Looking
But
it
yeah,
over.
I understand that there's things
that
that happen.
religion knowledge check you made, it doesn't mean anything to you other than it's a big squid.
Understood.
You're sat down. Vixie and Roa, what are you two doing?
I want to put the silver pot in my head and just kind of walk out.
Silver pot's like 3 feet wide. You're gonna have like a giant bowl. It's like going down to your shoulders. Like a massive wash basin.
But it's silver.
It is silver. It's almost certainly valuable. Hauling it back would be obnoxious at best. But it is a silver bowl. This is probably worth a couple of gold pieces. This might be worth half one of your bounties by itself.
I can make you a shell.
Like a turtle?
Yes. Rope it to the back.
That would be awesome.
Roll me the medicine check.
I'm like, listen.
I regret asking. Roll me the medicine check.
I first look over and I'm like, he looks like a mushroom. And then I'm like, a turtle shell would be amazing. Oh, not a critical failure. I mean, it still might be.
What'd you get?
That is a 6.
5 is a critical failure.
Okay, I was gonna say. Oh no, I have to use it.
Do you want to use?
You want to use his hero point? All right, we'll use his hero point.
Taking my trickster.
Okay, we're gonna go into medicine checks.
Would you like to give me a dice that you think will be good for
Don't take any dice from him. Every dice I've gotten has been from him.
Yeah.
We're offering it all over the table.
Okay. Yeah, this is your own life you're taking in your hands.
I'll take that one if he's offering.
You don't want that one. You do not want that one. The malachite is cursed.
Okay, so
I'll use it.
Oh, no.
it's only a 13.
Still gonna fail.
But I don't kill you.
You
might.
Wow, that thing beat the crap out of you. What a profound strike. This is certainly beyond your abilities to really bad.
Yeah. So flattened skulls are not really my
Dent in your forehead.
I imagine it being like a cartoon because he's like, my mascara was running a little bit, and then he turns to his side and just.
So what about the drink that you got a hold of, maybe?
Give me the
Right.
rat
I
piss.
actually did. I found this somewhere.
Let's save it.
I may not have known what it was, but I did find it.
Okay, I'm going to give this across the table. He did find it. I think we should.
You'll get this when you earn it.
I still do not know what happened. Why is everyone turning? Except for my friend Kate.
I know
You're being kind of a jerk.
I tried to make them feel better. They seem really high and tense.
You shot at me.
Okay, well, if
You're ignoring that portion of this entire
Hey,
conversation.
we should just keep moving on. Okay?
You're talking as you file back out of this room and continue down this worn path.
If you knew how she was normally, you would actually. This is actually quite good. She's doing very
But
good
I
today.
don't know, and this is jarring for me.
No, I was trying to explain.
This passageway doubles back on itself once more, the natural cavern finally seeming to terminate on what looks to be a half-finished room carved out of the very stone of the earth itself, with another simple door. To save you the perception check, there is nothing on it and you push it open, and it leads forward into a much wider room where you can see a pair of doorways at the far end. Somewhat similar to the chamber you had just left. Again, this one boasts several statues. As you enter, immediately on your left is the hooded statue of a priest, hands folded over his chest, head bowed, robes obscuring much of his figure. And a very similar statue lays in the second corner on that same side at the far end of the hall, some 40 feet down. But its hands are folded in prayer before its face as it looks up. And the room is utterly silent as the door itself let out not even the mildest of creaks as it soundlessly glided open to reveal this before you. On the right side of the room, there's a cutaway in the wall that opens up into a round stone chamber about 15 feet abreast, in which stands a much larger statue, a towering man, 12 feet tall, similarly hooded, but with the symbol of a set of scales carved across the chest of this robe, both of his hands outstretched, palms upturned over a flat rectangular table in front of him. This table appears to be a stone altar, much different from the one of the strange octopus PvP room. This one is surrounded with carvings of stacks of coin, skylines of cities, and again, this strange scales symbol. But on its face is a massive, very slight depressed carving of a huge two-toothed key. And scattered across the table are 9 gold pieces. As you move closer, you can see an inscription just in front of the statue itself. The weight of true wealth weighs my hands. One of these coins is a deception. A judgment given with one hand, the second with the other. Purge this altar of its falsehood to receive my blessing.
Well, when any of them are like not look, I would like to do a stealth check to try to swipe the coins.
Make me a thievery check. All of them? I don't think it literally. I guess they won't know who did it. They're obviously going to assume it's you, but make me a thievery check.
Can I athletics check to bear hug?
If you see him.
Oh yeah, that's true. I guess so.
19 on the die
I want
plus
shield
7.
up to be messing with these statues, going to look at one.
Okay, so you're going to, instead of investigating, you're going to be keeping.
I could give 2 craps about the coins.
With a 19,
It's 26 total.
19 on the die, yeah. With 26 total, you would absolutely be able to find a moment to just swipe all 9 of these coins away while everyone's investigating the statue and the things around it. You still investigating, Roa. Give me a religion check. And if any of you want to change your explanation,
That's 21.
It's a natural 20.
And then
Natural 20s do still have power in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Even though critting is like 10 high or low, a natural 20 is still all but guaranteed to be a critical success, and a natural 1 all but guaranteed to be a critical failure. Yes. The core of the 10 plus or minus system is called degrees of success. Critical success, success, failure, critical failure.
Gotcha.
And a natural 20 moves you up 1 entire step. So even if the DC was 21, you would succeed and then critically succeed because it was a natural 20.
Gotcha.
So you recognize this. There is plenty of iconography, and this is probably one of the more common deities throughout Golarion. This is all idolatry of Abadar, the god of wealth, the god of civilization, the god of society and law and coin. The key emblazoned upon the top of the altar, as well as these golden scales, are his 2 primary symbols. And this seems like a test of some sort that would have been designed perhaps by one of his adherents. Maybe as a test of fate, and maybe perhaps simply as a test of wit. But as you all look back at the table, the coins are no longer there.
As I hear the clang going into his pockets.
I'm curious to know if the clanging of my pots and pans while I walk has also been silenced in this room.
It would not be. No.
Okay.
Your own movements would still produce
Sure.
noise, but it would
Great.
somehow be more eerily silent because you've been in several chambers by yourself so far.
Sure.
Somehow this one seems almost just a bit
Sure.
damp. Like you can almost hear your blood flow through your veins when everyone is still.
Awesome. I would like to raise up my shield and kind of be investigating these side, but specifically this guy here is
Right.
closer to where I am.
As you look over the statues towards the corner, Roa would be able to see you doing this and indicate they were probably just carvings of adherents of
Sure.
Abadar of some of his priests.
Cool.
Specifically. How about the rest of you?
Well,
Who took the gold?
well, I could hazard a guess.
That look.
Doesn't seem like she's going to be earning that health potion anytime soon.
Can I do an underworld lore or perception to see if I can figure out which one is fake?
As you reach to pull these coins back out from where you had stashed them, you pull out an empty hand, and looking back at the altar, the 9 coins have simply reappeared upon its surface.
Everybody else see that?
Okay, so I do not know much about religion. In fact, I know almost nothing. But you seem to know quite a bit. Why? Do you have any theories as to why we are going through the Museum of Ancient Religions?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
There are
well,
a pair of doorways at the far side of the room that you could pass through.
I cannot believe you went through the first doorway, and now you have gone through the second doorway as well, and it blows my mind that this is working out so well. I do not think it will work for this one.
I'll go to the doorway.
I'm going to stand back far away from all of the statues.
As you just walk up to the northern end of this room, in this little hall, there are a pair of doors. You would pass one on your right, and there would be another one at the terminus of this. Both of these now carved of stone set into the wall. A bright, almost white stone contrasting to the slate gray of this chamber, as it seems to be dimly lit by some unseen source.
Gotcha. Would I be able to do like an arcane check or something on the doors? I kind of don't even want to do that. I kind of just want to open the door.
Walking up to them, as you press upon the right door here, the first one you would come
Yep.
to, it is firm in its frame. Absolutely no give or motion whatsoever. In fact, it doesn't even appear to possess like a handle, a lock, or any kind of mechanism to manipulate it.
Well, I guess I will look at these coins. I do have an eye for telling whether people are handing me fake coins. So I guess I will study the coins without touching them.
Looking them all over, they are certainly not modern gold pieces. While they are of gold, and I mean, there's only so much of a standard throughout Galarian. Basically, every country is minting its own gold pieces, and they're all by weight. This is nothing from any purse you recognize coming through Atari, though they would certainly be accepted as golden coins. They are the right size, vaguely the right shape. They both bear the key on one face, the scales on the other. Feeling them, looking them over, you can determine no difference amongst the 9 of them. They all seem to be perfectly identical.
I think you should just grab one and throw it away.
After not finding anything important here, can I go back over to the counter where I see them kind of going over these coins
I'll
and
move to the
assist
side
in a
so that-
role of
yeah.
some sort? Religion, or I have settlement lore. I don't know if this would apply to settlement lore or more religion. I don't know where that role would lie, but I want to assist best I can.
Okay. I will tell you that this is more of a puzzle.
Sure.
That there would be some skill checks perhaps that could aid with.
Sure.
Give me a religion check then real quick, Harry, and we'll see if there's anything you can find anything to learn.
That is a 11.
With an 11, this is the opposite of a god that you would know about.
Totally.
This is the polar opposite of the god of nature and animals
Sure.
and happiness. This is like the god of capitalism and
We
economy.
live in a society.
You would certainly recognize him as the one whose statues and scales grace the outsides of basically every bank you've ever passed by, but not many more than that. You would just know him as a lord of coin.
Well, we have 9 coins, and
He said he has his hand out.
He has both
both
hands
hands.
out
I'm
over
guessing
the altar.
Gotcha.
I'm guessing he wants to make it even on both, but we have 9, which means it is not going to be even.
Oh, it's because one of them is the fake. So we put the full that aren't bad on one hand, four that's not bad on the other hand, and then we take the fake one.
Great. Why don't you do that? That's a great idea.
Okay, so I put all 9 coins, one on each tail, and
I'm just
then
watching this happen from
I
the hallway.
randomly mix them up and then deposit them on the hands. Wait, except for one. One tail holds another.
So you have a coin, and you just put 4 in one hand, 4 in the other.
That is exactly what I do.
He
And
dies
as you put them
instantly.
in the hands, they shift. 4 in one, 4 in the other, as one arm raises and one lowers.
Ooh, that must mean that one of them is the fake one in the hand that went up. So now we just switch out the coins until it does the thing.
And you take all the coins back, the hands slowly drift back to their position.
Well, I take the coin I have and I keep switching it.
Oh, you take the coin, you switch it with one of the coins, and the hands are immobile. As you take the coins again and place them on a third time, the hands, you literally watch the coins one by one wink and flicker out of existence, disappearing almost in just little embers of flame as they remanifest back on the surface of the altar. Again, the inscription, a judgment given with one hand, a second with the other. After your second guess, it appears to have reset itself.
Merde.
Well, how long do we have here?
I grab the coins. I place 1 on the left hand and 2 on the right hand.
Okay. The hand of 2 sinks heavier.
Mm-hmm.
Can I put one of my gold pieces on the one with 1 coin?
As you put one of your own gold pieces here, nothing happens. The hands don't react to its presence at all.
Well, at least we know it's magic. I take my coin back very
I
greedily.
feel like disappearing may have answered that, but I like your intuition. That's
Can I
good.
look at the statues in the corners again?
Sure. They are finely enough made. They're not masterpieces or anything. And again, their cloaks obscure basically all of their figures. Their hooded faces, not even sculpted so much as just shadowy abyss. Save for their folded hands, there is very little detail and almost nothing of note about them.
Okay.
Vixie, you're a ponderer of pilfered coins. What do you think we should do?
I think I need a closer look at these coins.
And again, as you look across them, there's nothing. They weigh the same. They look identical.
What is on? You said there's. I'm looking at the
I
coin.
think it's funny they put this in the beginner box meant to like introduce Pathfinder. Like, here's a logic puzzle, idiots. But I like it. So we're here.
So the side that has the key symbol on it. What does it look like?
That is the face of the table. That's where the coins are set.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And what is on the coins again? The front and the back.
The key on one side, the scales on the other. The 2 symbols of Abadar.
Okay.
How many scales are on the back
I
of
put
the
I
coin?
put the giant silver platter in its hand. And put all of the coins inside of
That hand descends. Doesn't react with balls. With all 9 are in there. It detects them through the bowl by the magic of statue puzzle and goes down.
the bowl tips over. I love it.
The other hand probably would knock the ball over, resetting the hand back again.
That was a good idea.
Can I try 4 in the left hand and 5 in the right hand?
As you place them, regardless of the shift that would occur, they would flicker away and reset to the surface of the table as the third puzzle. But then picking them back up and trying once more. 4 in the left hand, 5 in the right hand. The 5 descends.
And what was the inscription again?
Inscription says, "The weight of true wealth weighs my hands. One of these coins is a deception. One judgment given with one hand and a second with the other. Purge the altar of its falsehood."
Can I put all of the coins except for 1 in one hand and then 1 in the other hand?
The hand with 8 coins descends.
Again, maybe we should start thinking of this guy as someone who doesn't.
I'm
see
gonna
no
look
pace
at the
of
2
tab.
statues in the corner
and deal
again.
with
You
him
mentioned that they were in
accordingly.
different poses.
One has his hands folded across his chest, his head balanced. One has them out in front of his head, his hands almost in prayer. class before this enshrouded face, but otherwise they are near identical, bearing no iconography themselves.
I did think, Hetty, did you figure something out? Do you have like that sparkling nerd eye sometimes?
I feel like it's asking us to prove the coin's worth, and maybe if we just place them one at a time, we might get to some sort of resolution. So I place
that
one
sounds like a good
coin
plan.
on the left hand.
It was inevitable eventually, and by absolute random chance, that is the one that is false. And as it fizzles away, and finally a flash of golden light, you hear grating stone as the door you had
Genius.
tested earlier at the far end slides down.
I look flabbergasted
I know,
at Harry. I'm
Like
like,
rolling a d10 every time he got there. He finally had you just picked it
Are
up.
you telling me this puzzle was random chance this whole time?
No, if you put 3 on one hand, 3 on the other, it'll either stay still or move, which tells you which pile of 3 has the coin. Your second test is one of the 3, the other of the 3. It tells you which one, you know which one
But
for sure.
the fours didn't do that?
We
4 and
tried
5
too
is-
many times.
No, I did 4 and 4.
Yeah, 4 and 4 gave you 1, and that didn't help you. Because you just know it's in that pile, but you wouldn't have enough to narrow it down in your next
And I also think after 2 attempts, it resets.
Yeah, and it resets every 2
So if you had
attempts.
4, that'd be the odds to get the 2 are way
and then they're
worse
all
than
mixed up
3.
again. And
Or you
don't know.
could just the other solution is what I call the adventurer's choice. It literally resets infinitely, so you just pick one up and put it and keep doing
Yep.
it until it says you win.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking was going on here.
I was at the point of breaking the puzzle.
I know. I was looking at that. So we had
That door
discussions.
in the back has slid open.
Gotcha. I'd like.
And as you move around to see into it, it's a very small chamber with a wooden chest in its center. Sat upon a large stone, like square obelisk that is about 3 feet high, putting the chest at about waist level. The chest across its top is emblazoned with a golden sigil, once more, of this key, exactly matching the one on the top of the altar. Behind this obelisk, though, is an incredible contraption. A series of clockwork gears, cogs, and pulleys all interlinking into the back wall of this chamber and to some massive device unseen. A large lever sprouts from the side of the box itself. Clearly labeled, the lever is up. A clear label at the bottom says active. That's the opposite of that position.
I choose the lever.
Okay? A little airsoft BB bounces off the lever. And
Derail.
small golden shafts of light pierce through the room from left to right. And as you enter, you can see there are some small little holes throughout the left wall, allowing this light to stream through. The chest opens simply enough, containing a trio of objects. One, a small pouch, heavy with coin. That much coin. Where's your approximate now, Lugo?
I got that spell. It's literally a spell called Approximate. in
You
Pathfinder.
get that much coin.
I get this much coin?
That's what's in there. Secondly, there is a small,
Oh, that's quite a bit of coin.
Really?
If only you could approximate the value. You would still have an
a
approximation.
mixture of silvers, gold pieces, and coppers, all. An impressive quantity of wealth throughout this pouch. And yet more. That many. Go ahead and write that many on your loot sheet.
Deal. Just this medium bag of coin?
When we met to make these characters, Lugo found the spell approximate and said, haha, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Literally.
Who's laughing now, sir?
This man doesn't know how to count.
Bet you wish you could approximate that wealth, don't you?
Legitimately could care 2 craps about coin. Animals don't take coin. Last I checked.
I can just hold on to this for us.
Except for crows.
But I will hold it to make sure Trixie does not get it.
Secondly, there's a small glass box with a single tiny, flawed emerald within its center. And thirdly, a rolled up scroll of parchment covered in arcane sigils. Roa, being a sorcerer of the arcane tradition, this is the kind of magic with which you are somewhat familiar, and you would be able to read this. A scroll of magic missile, a forceful evocation that creates purified bolts of basically magical force that unerringly connect with their targets. You could use this scroll to cast the spell from the paper once, as the magic within the paper would burn itself away with the casting. Even though that is not a spell that you know, since it matches your school of magic, you can just use it.
Okay. Right?
You are a primal caster.
Correct.
And since this is an arcane scroll without some kind of feature ability, you wouldn't be able to activate it quite as easily.
Understood, but still able to? Just curious about mechanics.
You would need something that lets you do it. There are some feats or abilities, some skill feats that let you like trick activate magic items. But a scroll specifically, you really got to understand the magic to be able to draw it out there.
Makes sense.
There are 4 schools of magic, 4 traditions of magic in Pathfinder: arcane, primal, occult, and divine. And all things will fall into one, but sometimes several of those categories. But as you look through this, you can hear a small voice through these little holes in the wall. An almost childlike, but kind of raspy. You know, if like a 9-year-old smoked a pack a day for his entire life, coming through here.
There's not much more that we can grab. You fed him everything. You're bringing in fish fast enough.
And another voice replies,
There are no excuses. Whatever we have to do, it must feed. The boss's new pet is our only priority.
Look, I kind of glance.
You hear that? Do you hear the voices? Do you also hear the voices?
Yep.
First voice again.
It's at the expense of everything. We barely have enough food for ourselves.
Can I listen to try and see which wall this is coming from?
It's coming through the wall that has holes in it.
Oh, okay, well I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know if all of them had holes in it.
No, just the one on your left here on the northern side. On the same wall facing the second door in the hallway behind you, a second voice responds,
The boss will use this beast when it is grown. We'll purge the town above, and we will have all of their things, all of their meats, not just their fish.
Is that door around the edge not opened or anything?
the door around the corner is closed.
Gotcha.
It is a similar stone door, but it is set with a handle on hinges and looks like it could open in a traditional sense, but it is closed at the moment.
On this map, on this map, where are the holes that we're looking
The holes
at?
on the northern side of that small little chamber with the box.
Right here?
So you can
Dope.
you can hear them while you're in that room with that little treasure chest
Dope.
and with the weird lever on the side.
Sure, I'll let you finish and then I have some.
So the holes are however big are the holes again? Sorry.
Very small. They're
Very,
little
very,
tiny
very
pinpoints of light drift
Okay.
through the room.
Okay.
You can look through them, but and you can just barely see a little glimpse of the room beyond. If you want to use the magic of Arkenforge to delete that wall, you can see into a larger, much more ornate chamber. Where even through the ancient dust and grime across the ground, you can see the center of the room has mosaic blue tiling and an intricate pattern that spreads out for dozens of feet around. You can see a set of stone pillars a little ways out from the near wall. It looks like a fairly grandiose chamber lies beyond. These tiny voices coming from through and to the right, to the northeast.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Yep.
Is there any way you can transform into something you can fit through these holes?
I definitely can.
Can I shoot through the holes?
Can I stop him from shooting through the holes? I'd like more of a
Yes,
reconnaissance
yes,
than a...
all of these questions.
All right.
I'm keen to, I have something I'd like to do, but I don't think it's in my, I don't know whose initiative it is currently.
There's not an initiative. Right?
Awesome. If nobody is going to prevent this from happening, and I don't even know if I can, but you see Harry kind of crawl into the room, very animalistic, as it lifts its face and puts its mouth over the hole and puff poison in through the hole.
Ooh,
That's
Spicy.
good.
That's a nice one.
I like that a lot.
Okay.
That's super.
While he's doing that, is there any way I can just...
What is that?
Sorry, the
Go
voice is
check.
killing me.
And you hear some scampering, and as you cast this puff of green cloud out through here, you see a tiny little lizard-like figure. A very flat, triangular head.
Oh?
And a crude spear in its hand. Totter around the corner and up towards the wall. Walk up to your poison cloud. What does puff poison
Does
do?
it stick its eyes through the hole?
All right. I believe it is going to be a
Little
fortitude saving throw.
Oh, I'm sure this tiny moron is great at those. 7.
It's a failure.
What's your spell DC?
It's a 17.
That is a critical failure.
Now, what I see here is it does 2 persistent poison damage,
Okay.
and that is the only thing that it says here.
Let me.
Unless it's modifier plus. Oh yeah, so plus 7. So 7 points of damage.
Let me.
Sorry, 4. Oh, I thought this would be my spell casting. Oh, a spell attack roll.
Pick the card. We don't have a. Pick the spell. We don't have a card for it. So let me look real quick.
Yep,
poison
sorry.
damage equals your spellcasting modifier, which would be your wisdom modifier, which is probably 3, I imagine.
Correct.
4.
4.
He will take the critical failure. He takes 8. He takes twice as much damage.
Plus 2. Persistent.
And 2 persistent.
Plus 2 persistent.
Persistent means he is poisoned. He will continue to take that over time. But he whiffs this, and you see this little kobold waddle up. And just absolutely plank face down on the ground. You had a second voice call out,
What is it? What happened? Go check on him.
While that stuff's going on, can I check the other door? Just check and see if it
Sure.
will open.
A very gentle touch shows you that it should open. It's not locked or sealed. You could open this.
Can I somehow gesture towards everyone to let them know that this door is open?
Yeah, you could definitely get that across the party.
Can I grab the gem?
You grab the gem.
Okay, I'll save this for later.
And a second red kobold comes up. Spear up in front of it. Clearly a lot more reticent. And he looks and he sees his friend face down on the ground. He shifts his grip down to the very, very end of the spear. And he reaches out as far as he can, from like 10 feet back from the wall, and just kind of pokes
his friend
with the bladed tip.
I think he's dead.
You okay?
The wall killed him.
You just make me an attack roll.
18 on the die.
What's the total?
That is a 27.
That is a critical hit.
With his BB gun?
With his BB gun.
Through the tiniest.
Through the tiniest.
Some Mission Impossible stuff.
Right in his little beady eyeball.
I guess the barrel would be a little small. You probably maybe
So-
hold the
so I
barrel
roll
in
this
there.
twice?
You can roll it twice or just double it.
Oh, I'm doubling that bitch.
What is the total?
It is, do I double my, damage
Yep,
thing?
yeah, double everything.
Yeah, he takes 10 points
You
of...
see this little BB shootout hit him in the eye and he just
On top of the other one?
10 feet back and drops the spear as he falls on the ground.
What? Yeah. I'm getting Green Fang. I'm getting Green Fang. Stay there.
And you hear feet retreat.
Can I yell at him as the wall to make a deception check to make him the wall's alive?
I am the almighty wall.
Make me a deception check.
I'd like to turn around and pull that lever.
That is an 18.
That's enough. They're not smart. With an 18, you hear the Pete stop, and it turns back around.
Mighty wall. Our passage hopefully has not offended your stony visage.
You have offended me with your feeding of fish.
We I am sorry. I hope you can accept our apology. Give us merciful forgiveness.
And you hear the voice coming a bit closer, and you see a third blue-scaled kobold come around the back of the pillar into the center of the room with what appear to be a bunch of small bear traps around his waist and javelins slung across his back. His hands up as he's just kind of looking towards the wall and the corpses. And Harry throws the lever. And with a great clanking and grinding, you see a bunch of these gears and pulleys start to engage. A jet of steam shoots out from behind the wall. And the blue kobold takes one more step, and you hear a massive... As from the left side of the room, you see a huge, ballista spear across the chamber, whisking this kobold away with it as it shoots. And the lever snaps back up to the top position.
What is happening?
What'd you guys do? That was very loud.
As I said, the kobolds were the dangerous ones with traps.
Oh no, I saw this fight going.
So, we have yet to walk in the room.
And the encounter is dead.
I'd like to head into the room and just see the massacre that happened here.
Walk in the room and see this first kobold up against the wall. His red scales pallid and drained of color around his head. A small trickle of blood coming out the eye of the second kobold where he has just fallen on the ground.
Just covered in blood.
The third one who has literally been speared against the far wall by what appears to be like a 7-foot-long, jagged-tipped ballista bolt or a harpoon.
I walk up to the one that's on the ground and I look at its skull and I was like, hey, that's the thing that we saw in the cocoon.
2 other ballista bolts hit the wall on either side. It was a trio of them that shot down the center of the room when you armed the trap, all but ensuring the demise of this creature. But as you look through, you see that this room, on its far end where the kobold had once been stood, is a small staircase leading up to a raised dais, almost like a stage where a throne would set. And behind it is an intricately carved, spiraling staircase descending yet deeper below. At this point, you feel like you have probably determined, well, you think you know at least where the food is going. The why is a mystery, but a kobold nest is not something to be taken lightly. And
are you sure?
You're quite
kind of dumb. Safety in numbers, I guess.
You're quite certain that it is best at this point that you retreat back up to Atari to prepare yourselves for the journey into the depths below.
Does that blue kobold by chance? How many bear traps does he have?
You would have three little bear traps around his waist.
I would like to place those bear traps at the top of the staircase.
As Trixie is grabbing the bear traps, I'm gonna activate the lever again. I never left the room.
You pull the lever again.
Oh no, I'm in there. I'm in that room, man.
You get this grinding thunking, but nothing happens. Trixie, unbeknownst, set these traps, turns around with Roa in there, and as the group of them step back down onto the blue tiles, you hear a massive and a trio of ballista bolts lance out from the wall towards the pair of you.
I'm just sitting here drinking in
I'd
my
like to think that we, like me and him were laughing about the bear traps just because, I don't know, we're cruel and fun. I think it's funny. And then just ballistas.
No, we could have died there.
I don't know if we're alive yet.
Got here.
24 to hit you, Roa.
On my AC?
Yes.
I have a 15 AC. That
Not
hit.
a critical hit. And a 10.
Come on! Come on!
Out of the way as Roa just gets railed by a second set of harpoons here.
It pulls it again.
Taking 9 points of piercing damage.
Okay, thank God I healed. Thank God I drank that crap water.
Back up into position.
Me and Vixie are sitting in the corner sharing drinks. We're like, yes, here's another one.
Do I get pinned to the wall?
No, you're a little bigger. You kind of stagger from this. It's a hard hit, but it's not going to carry you across the room like it is this tiny little weightless
Oops.
lizard.
Ow!
Echo through.
Dick?
I didn't know what it did. I
You see
didn't know
him come
exactly
in
what it did.
through a little hole in the wall. You've been playing Elden Ring, comically large.
So we all agree that I wasn't the bad guy, right?
And I suppose
Can I pull it out and use this healing potion?
that's your healing potion. You pull it out and heal for 3. It's
Hero points can't be used to have you re-roll stuff, can they? Not that I'm going to do that here for future
We're
knowledge.
ending the session, so you know what? If you
Let's do it. Oh, please. David.
Yep. Yep.
27.
Yes!
That does hit me. Hey,
What is your? Oh,
you got a hero point?
She's not near you. She's drinking with
Yes,
Dixie.
You take 15 points of piercing.
He's dead.
I'm unconscious.
So that picks Trixie up and slams
You guys don't have death saves or anything.
We do.
Oh, come on.
Trixie is unconscious and gets picked up and slammed in the back while here as you take this hit and stagger back out.
I still get hit.
You're sort of
Yeah.
dangling. Yeah, you still get hit by this. Trixie's sort of dangling. The oops.
I'd like to go.
I'm gonna go save Trixie.
Why?
We end the world's
Oh, no.
most
Oh, no.
dysfunctional rendition of Menace under Atari. For now. This mystery is certainly not solved. We have only, well, discovered the depths of human depravity, but also the very edges, the outliers.
Does that mean
of
we'll have
this
to come back?
Kobold nest. That means we could come back. I may have said our one.
He's not having us at this table again. He's not having us
But
at
you
this
know,
table again.
all of this happens.
The only way this happens is if you guys demand it. So let them know you want. Let them know you want to see
I would love to
another
come back and see, just like come back to his body dangling.
As long as Ryan's a new character, we can be civil. Don't shoot at me in the first 2
I
minutes.
kind of liked it not being civil though.
I can't believe you're going on it.
I can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe I'm the bad guy here.
I'm not surprised.
Definitely less of a tutorial than I had hoped it would be. But
This dice served me well with the one chance I used it.
maybe the first half at least could have introduced him to the basic concepts of Pathfinder, how a good game run works, how an adventure
Are you
goes.
kidding me? That was
And the
hella
second half
entertaining.
demonstrates probably going to fall apart in seconds due to the antics of your average player characters. This has been the most purified tabletop experience I've ever had.
It was awesome.
Oh, so much fun.
Very similar, but a little bit different.
That's going to be it for us, everybody. The first Pathfinder to come to twitch.tv/Squidish in well over a year, I think. I hope you enjoyed it. Before we go, where can we find the OcalianKnights and more of whatever this shit is?
All right, look, it's OcalianKnights.
OcalianKnights.
Yeah.
Ocalian?
We
Oh, you can say however you want, realistically.
Ocalian for a long time. Although that is true to the name Ocala, I think Ocalian gives it that little twist
It's because
to
it's
the
like
fantasy.
Arthurian.
But an
Absolutely.
E on the end. So they know you're not fucking around.
With a little line above
We
it.
might change it. Yeah, get it, guys.
So you can find us on twitch.tv/OcalianKnights. I'm sure there will be links in the description whenever
Yeah,
this goes
YouTube,
live.
YouTube.
We got youtube.com/OcalianKnights now.
Yes.
So we finally have our own hyperlink, so that's nice. OcalianKnights on Facebook, OcalianKnights on Patreon, OcalianKnights for days on anything, Twitter, Instagram, not
Twitter.
Google Plus because Google Plus doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
but
Rumble.
we're on a lot of different
On
things.
everything.
Yeah.
Just it's OcalianKnights.
So I always do this on our channel, and I think that it's very beneficial for anyone who uses Twitch as a platform to reach masses. If you have an Amazon account, if you are an Amazon Prime member,
Prime sub me.
Yes.
Use your Bezos bucks.
Legit, dude.
Don't try to tell me you don't have
It's
Amazon
free. We
Prime
know
in the
you
year of
got
our Lord
it.
2022.
We know you got it, or your mom's got it.
Selling out Lugo, I
Or your
appreciate
mom's got it. So listen, guys, with Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription.
It's free
to
for
a
you,
Twitch.
but it pays.
Literally, dude, it is free for you to do.
Pays me.
It takes like a second to accomplish once you've linked your Twitch with your Amazon Prime account. You guys could literally change our lives by just using free Amazon Prime money.
It is literally all of your guys' funding, unironically, through the Two Perception Show, through the Patreon that has led to all of this.
Sure.
You may notice that, hopefully, I don't know how the technical end is done, the video side of things is looking a lot better recently because we have invested your money into new lighting setups and a new capture
Looks
device
great
for the
here.
cameras, and everything should look way cleaner than it has been, again, assuming the CPU matching thing is solved, which is a separate problem. That's fine. Then. It should be looking a lot better. And that's your support for the Two Perception Show. It's been doing it. Thank you, guys. But I will see you all tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm going back to Elden Ring to be sad and throw things.
I will be there in the chat. I will be watching you. I've been enjoying Elden Ring myself. Maybe we can play together.
Against my better judgment, I'm going back to Elden Ring.
Against your better judgment.
Against my better judgment. And we will be seeing more of you guys, I'm sure, on your various networks, and hopefully some more crossover adventures. In the
Love it.
future.
That would be
On
awesome.
both sides. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you guys for coming. Of
Our
course,
pleasure, man.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
It's been a goddamn adventure. Welcome to Pathfinder ?
It was good.
I will
Chaos
take
is a
any
ladder.
invite you send me, sir. Thank you very much. This was an absolute blast.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you later.
Bye, everybody.